A LOL pro player spent 100,000 to get me to build a PC. I only made 99,000 off him. A beautiful girl spent 500,000 on a custom motorcycle. I made 488,000 off her. Then Chairman Lei from the big tech company heard about me and wanted to spend 10 million on a car. In the end, I ripped him off for 9.8 million. Later, the Dragon Kingdom military came to me. They actually wanted to spend 200 million for me to build a tank. I thought, surely I wouldn't dare to rip off the Dragon Kingdom's money too. I held back and made 180 million. You little rascal actually dared to take the Dragon Kingdom's money. But after testing the tank's power. Little Faye, here's another 600 million order. Squeeze it in when you have time. I smiled and said, I'll make a little profit. You won't mind, right? After all, ripping off clients is how I get points. And only points can upgrade the manufacturing system. After getting the system, I was so bored my limbs almost atrophied. So I went to the stream room looking for work. Right then, former pro player Zisher was raging. If it weren't for this crap PC lagging just now, I would have let Bayan Solo kill me. Trying to turn the game around, Zisher, encouraged by the water friends in the stream, successfully lost another 3 rounds. Zisher was completely cracked. The water friends love watching the drama. I told you so. The kid never had any real skill. Then a water friend named Frog spoke up. Ignore the haters, Zisher. I believe your PC really did lag. If you need a new PC, remember to hit me up. I'll give you 20% off. Ha ha ha. Get a new PC from Frog. 30,000 and make 28,000 profit. Oh no, he's coming for me. Moderator, ban Frog from the stream room right now. This time I'm definitely finding a real tech god to build a PC and show you all what real skill looks like. So he started browsing the stream hall, looking for Zisher. Suddenly his eyes lit up. Godlike manufacturing shop. Fulfill all your fantasies. This is it. I'm gonna go godlike. So he wrote his requirements on the order. I want a PC for LOL. That can reach a state of man-machine unity. The kind where I punch Bayun and kick Li Yuan Hao. I have a legal team. If you can't deliver, don't take my order. Seeing Zisher's order notes, the stream viewers couldn't hold it in. Is this guy writing a novel? Man-machine unity. Why not throw in one punch breaks the heavens? The kid doesn't want a PC. He wants a magical artifact. Who would dare take this order? Wait, this shop owner actually accepted it. And accepted it instantly. Whoa, is this shop owner insane? How can he accept such outrageous requirements? Look, the order amount is 100,000 bucks. The kid could sue for fraud. That amount is enough to get a conviction, right? Well, this shop owner is done for. With no orders coming in, I was bored stiff. But after seeing Zisher's order requirements, I was actually pretty calm inside. Although the system's first phase only has civilian product manufacturing skills, it does include PC building tech. When Zisher saw my reply, his expression froze for a moment. The stream comments kept flying. Physical exam report? Why does the shop owner want a physical exam report? I don't get it. What's a medical check got to do with a PC setup? Zisher gave the water friends a contemptuous look. You guys don't understand anything, do you? This is what they call professionalism. After I fed Zisher's physical data into the system, I got feedback quickly. The optimal display refresh rate for Zisher is around 218 Hz. CPU processing speed, 0.00058 milliseconds. In other words, from Zisher's hand movements to the in-game hero, the action completion rate is 0.0009. Wow, that's tough, but not too tough. System activate. Super Lab ready to receive host instructions. Lab is initializing. I looked at the corner. That old secondhand PC that was already scrapped. A price tag appeared in my sight. 126 bucks. A 100,000 order. Minus cost of 126. I can make over 99,900. The 80,000 points needed to unlock system level 2. That'll be enough, right? Super Lab successfully initialized. Current lab time ratio is 5:1. 5 days in the lab equals 1 day in the real world. Currently 2 options available for host. Option 1. Fully enter the Super Lab. Host will not age inside the lab. Option 2. Only consciousness enters the Super Lab. Physical body outside will age over time. If the system upgrades, the time ratio will increase to 100:1. That would mean spending a year in the lab, while only about 4 days pass in reality. Excited, I closed the door. Carried that scrapped PC into the Super Lab. Inside the lab, I don't need to eat or sleep, and my energy stays full the whole time. 3 days later. Graphics card, motherboard, CPU, hard drive. I successfully made them all. Manufacturing score, 10 out of 10. This time, 9.9. I thought making the RAM was too time-consuming, so I was a bit sloppy with it. Originally, it could last 20 years. Now it'll last 10 years instead. After all, even a PC lasting 5 to 6 years is considered long-lived. I entered the lab at 9 p.m. Now it's 11 a.m. Only about 12 hours passed in reality. I shipped it to the address Zisher left. At 6 p.m., water friends who got the stream notification flooded into Zisher's stream. And seeing the title New PC arrived, they went crazy. Oh my god, so fast. This new PC looks way too legit. Less than a day and the PC is ready. Let's keep our expectations low. After all, the kid spent a whole 100,000. Zisher rubbed his hands excitedly. Brothers, witness the unveiling of the new PC. The next second, the expression on Zisher's face froze completely. Where's the flashy RGB case? And the 28-inch curved monitor? Zisher stared at the dusty case. His eyelid twitched hard twice. Is this Uncle Wong? I got scammed out of 100,000 for a PC build. No refunds. I just want to ask, how many years can that shop owner get for this? The stream audience completely lost it. Haha, I can't breathe. Let me laugh for 3 minutes first. I love watching the kid get wrecked. To be honest, anyone would be pissed. You couldn't even find this PC at a scrapyard. Looks like for a PC, you really should go to Frog. He makes 28,000 off 30,000. This shady shop owner dares to make 99,000 off the kid's 100,000. Now I finally understand why that shady boss asked for the kid's physical exam report. He was afraid the kid would pass out on the spot. After Zisher hung up the phone, he almost ground his molars to dust. If I don't put you behind bars, then my last name isn't Liu. So he tearfully brought out the PC that he spent 100,000 on. The scam of 100,000 drew the platform's serious attention. They even sent staff to his stream to gather evidence. And what Zisher needed to do now was benchmark the PC he received, so the staff could evaluate exactly how much of his 100,000 was scammed. Zisher suddenly froze. Something's off. How did this junk PC boot up instantly? Zisher didn't believe it, so he shut it down and pressed the power button again. The stream audience stared at the screen. Holy crap, what kind of boot speed is that? It booted in the blink of an eye. Even a good PC takes at least 6 to 7 seconds to boot. Zisher swallowed and said, not 7 seconds. Not 6 seconds either. 4.68 seconds? Did I hear that right? 4.68 seconds. This crap PC's boot speed would crush every other PC, wouldn't it? I heard the fastest boot speed is 5 seconds. Fast boot doesn't mean the computer's performance is good. I think this computer is probably missing a lot of components. Hence the speed. Could be just a shell computer. So that's what it is. 1 second of sympathy for the son. Zisher slammed his fist on the table. The lawyer just said, 30K for 3 years. 100K for 10 years. He ripped me off an extra 10 grand. I'll add another year inside for him. So Zisher downloaded a PC benchmark software. Something's off. If the fast boot was because of missing parts, then why is the download speed this fast? Could we have guessed wrong again? Maybe you really can't judge a computer by its cover. Zisher glanced at the bullet comments. Judging by cover, my ass. I've got a gigabit fiber line. How could it not be fast? This benchmark software looks different from mine. Processor, unknown. GPU, unknown. RAM, unknown. Hard drive, unknown. For unknowns, what the hell? Can it not detect anything? Does it have anything to do with the brand? Is it not even generic? Holy crap, how much did this Xinfei rip off? Wait, look at the score below. Score, 5,067,854. GPU, 3,098,541. RAM, 255,412. HDD, 701,576. Total, 9, 10, 23, 383. Am I seeing things or dreaming? I recall the highest scoring PC nationwide was only a few million. Is the benchmark software broken? This score looks like a joke. Zisher took a deep breath. Opened LOL. To test if a computer is good, just try it. Zisher found a match in no time. Holy crap. You know who the enemy top laner is? Abin, Chunzabin from DLG Pro Team. Wait for the sun to get wrecked. Abin just came back from Worlds with his tail between his legs. Going against Abin, he'll be turned into a pumpkin. Zisher pursed his lips. It's just Abin. My old computer was holding me back. Otherwise, forget Chunzabin. Even that guy Jiang Qinglu wouldn't stand a chance. The water friends in the stream room burst out laughing. P-Squad, get ready. Whose yellow are we aiming for? Hurry up and piss the sun awake. Diabetics stay back. Don't let the sun taste any sweetness. Once landing started, the water friends couldn't sit still. Zisher's level of microplay was something they'd never seen before. Zisher chose to die standing. Zisher chose to stand and die, rather than retreat under the turret. He started a level 1 all-in fight with Abin. Suddenly he realized the performance on this computer was more than a whole tier above his usual. Every basic attack and ability wove together smoothly. Holy shit, am I seeing things or dreaming? The kid actually solo killed Abin at level 1. Grandpa's awesome. Grandpa, come back to pro play. With this form, winning a world championship is like a walk in the park. Zisher only grew fiercer as the fight went on. He carried his 4 teammates and won this round. Fuck, don't lose hope. Looks like it's connected to Zisher's new custom PC. Go check out Zisher's stream and you'll see. Meanwhile, Boz, Xiaohu, and the others heard about this. They all rushed to Zisher's live stream room. Zisher sat in front of the computer, stunned for a long time. He just casually made up the whole man-machine fusion thing. Yet this computer actually made it happen. Right then, his phone suddenly rang. Uncle Wong, you're already planning to sue Xinfei? No, Xinfei is my real bro. I'll explain later. Anyway, this computer is absolutely worth more than 100,000 yuan. Then, he was going to run a big game to test it. Holy cow, the fan on the heatsink didn't even spin once. Fan not spinning means the CPU hasn't even come close to full load. He thought the computer would hit its limit, but it hadn't even touched the threshold. The water friends in the stream also started spamming comments. So Brother Fei's computer, is this amazing? I know I was wrong. Brother Fei, you'll forgive me, right? Brother Fei is awesome. Brother Fei is the true tech god of our Dragon Kingdom. I woke up in the afternoon, bleary-eyed, and opened my phone. Suddenly, I saw the stream room's ranking had shot up to the front like a rocket. I did think the computer I built for Zisher would attract some traffic, but I never expected it to be this insane. Looks like now, I won't have to worry about points for upgrading the system. Congratulations, host. Points earned. System upgraded to stage 2. All civilian product. Encyclopedia technology has been implanted into your brain, including, but not limited to air conditioners, cars, phones, and other high-end manufacturing. Actually, what I'm really interested in is stage 3 of the system. Military manufacturing, but upgrading from stage 2 to stage 3. Needs 10 million points. Let me check the math. Even if I earn 100,000 points a day, it'll take 100 days. I looked at the new orders in the back end. They're mostly for custom PCs. The highest is only 150,000. Can't you guys use a little imagination? I'm not just a PC builder. If you dare to think it, I dare to make it. Suddenly an order for 500,000 popped up in the back end. Meanwhile, Hai Xiaomei's stream blew up. Damn, everyone's going to Brother Fei for a custom PC. But you're going to him for a custom motorcycle? Haha, feels like this old lady is just trying to ride Brother Fei's coattails. Go ahead, keep leeching. One day you'll leech your way into trouble. Looking at the waterfront's comments, Hai Xiaomei's face turned black. Don't call me old lady. I'm only 27 this year. I genuinely love motorcycles, but I don't like the common ones on the market. And you say I'm leeching attention? Leech my ass. And just then, the viewers' comments started flying again. Oh my god, Brother Fei accepted the old lady's order. I feel like Brother Fei accidentally clicked it. I don't think it was an accident. His shady businessman side just kicked in again. Haha, the guy above is spot on. Brother Fei's PCs are awesome, but the looks are, yeah, cheap computer cases. Such a cheap thing. Brother Fei can't even spare a little money on it. I took a look at Hai Xiaomei's order. She wrote, Brother Fei, I want you to build me a motorcycle. Riders say, corner speed is real speed. But I can't take corners, so I want a bike that's fast in a straight line. The faster the better. Also, I'm a girl, so Brother Shun Fei has to make the bike look gorgeous. Love ya. After reading her cutesy message, I got goosebumps all over. She is a young woman after all. For the motorcycle, I plan to start with stability. Can't let a tiny pebble on the road take her life. Of course, speed also has to be guaranteed. Looks like I'll have to bite the bullet this time. I gathered enough raw materials from the warehouse to build the motorcycle. Cost me 12,000 bucks total. Looking at that number, I felt a pang of pain. After all, that's 12,000 points. I quickly built the motorcycle frame. The engine and drivetrain naturally needed careful crafting. Because those two parts determine the bike's speed, the exterior also took a lot of effort. About 15 days later, I looked at the motorcycle I had built with my own hands and smiled with satisfaction. The system evaluated it. Host's current build scored a perfect 100. In terms of the motorcycle's shell, the host's understanding and manufacturing ability have broken through, awarding host 100,000 points. Seems like the system isn't such a profiteer after all. It can even throw in some surprise rewards. Originally, the time ratio between the lab and the outside was 5:1. After phase 2, it jumped to a ridiculous 30:1. A month inside is only half a day in the real world. I packed up the motorcycle and sent it to Hai Xiaomei. Everyone look, the old woman's stream room. Title, Brother Fei's custom bike has arrived. What the less than a day? Brother Fei actually fixed up the old woman's bike? Any motorcycle experts in the chat? Is this speed normal? I've been a bike guy for 10 years. A bike built in one day? Definitely not going to be any good. Haha, I said yesterday the old woman was going to get ripped off by Brother Fei. Now it's really happening. Looks like Brother Fei is still the same old profiteer through and through. I wonder out of that 500k, how much did Brother Fei pocket this time? I already calculated the PC Brother Fei built for his son last time. Apart from the hardware he made himself, which was pretty awesome, the other parts together probably cost less than 200 bucks. Bold prediction, Brother Fei took 500k. This time he's making at least 400k profit. The guy above is lowballing it. If it's less than 450k, Brother Fei doesn't deserve the title of King Profiteer. The barrage came wave after wave, absolutely unstoppable. Inside a certain private villa, Hai Xiaomei sat in front of her computer, watching those barrage comments. Her little face red with anger. What does the bike have to do with you guys? Isn't it enough that I like it myself? Looks like not streaming was the right choice after all. These haters are so annoying. Hai Xiaomei put her hands on her hips, grumbling in frustration, opening the package nicely. Isn't that more pleasant? Why do I have to listen to other people's nonsense? I'll unbox it myself. You want to see my new bike? I'm not showing you. Hai Xiaomei snorted a couple more times, and quickly tore open the big cardboard box holding the motorcycle. But when she saw the bike's appearance, Hai Xiaomei's eyelids couldn't help twitching a couple of times. Shenfei, did you really rip me off? You jerk. How can you be exactly like those haters said? Profiteer, boo-hoo. Profiteer. The bike in front of her had a very streamlined shape, but the appearance wasn't the least bit pretty, especially under the sunlight. The shell looked like rusty iron that had been scrubbed clean. It was just as ugly as it could be. Hai Xiaomei almost felt like crying, but all that stopped the moment she swung her leg over the bike and turned the key. Where's the gas? Shenfei, you absolute bastard. The blackest, darkest profiteer under heaven. I spent 500k, and you can't even spare a full tank of gas? Don't think I won't actually call the cops. Shenfei, let me test this bike's speed first. If I'm not satisfied, I'll go straight to the police and ask them to sort it out. But before she could go to the police, she obviously had to go to the gas station and buy a can of gas first. In Hai Xiaomei's stream room on Tiger Shark platform, more and more viewers who had heard the news were flooding in. The viewership was almost catching up to when she was actually streaming, and what everyone was interested in was definitely Hai Xiaomei's new bike. Holy crap, guys, guess what I just saw? Just now, I saw the old woman. What? You saw the old woman? Take a picture. What does her new bike look like? The stream's barrage exploded instantly after a water friend named Lonely Seeking Defeat commented, and under everyone's anxious anticipation, after a few seconds, that same Lonely Seeking Defeat sent another barrage. I took a closer look. I only saw the old woman alone. She came to the gas station to buy gas. The bike Brother Fei built for her? I didn't see it at all. She didn't ride it here. I don't get it. Does the old woman have a habit of stocking up on 98-octane gas? Lonely Seeking Defeat's barrage was full of confusion. However, some quicker viewers in the stream immediately caught on. The old woman went to buy gas at the station. Did Brother Fei forget to fill the tank? Ha ha ha, it must be. Brother Fei truly lives up to his reputation as the king profiteer. He couldn't even spare $100 for gas. You can always count on Brother Fei. He never lets anyone down. Looks like my earlier guess that Brother Fei pocketed 450k out of 500k was actually too low. Probably more like 470 to 480k. After that, Hai Xiaomei twisted the bike key, and the bike I built for her started up instantly. After putting on her helmet, Hai Xiaomei rode the bike out of the villa. She had ridden motorcycles before, but she was clearly an amateur, so she didn't really know much about bike performance. She kept twisting the throttle, and after riding about 2 kilometers, she stopped. This bike is pretty comfortable to ride. But going 70 miles per hour, is that fast or not? In front of her was a high-speed rail station. Since it was pretty remote, very few people come here to catch the train. But because the scenery was nice, whenever Hai Xiaomei had troubles, she liked to come here and sit, to be alone and calm down. It always helped her feel better. Shenfei, you big jerk. At least this place can cheer me up. Otherwise, I'd really be hurt. After 10 minutes or so, feeling her mood had calmed down a lot, Hai Xiaomei got up planning to ride home. But just then, a young man around 27 or 28 suddenly walked up to her with a worried look. Miss, I have something really urgent. Can I borrow your motorcycle? Hearing his sudden request, Hai Xiaomei immediately showed a bit of caution. What do you need my bike for? The young man heard her, turned to look at the station behind him, and then couldn't help showing a trace of grief on his face. My girlfriend of 7 years just broke up with me, but she said, if I can catch the high-speed train she's on, then we might still have a chance. So miss, please, let me borrow your bike to try? Don't worry, if I damage it, I'll sell everything I have to pay you back. The man looked straight at Hai Xiaomei, his eyes full of pleading, and also a hint of unwillingness. Hai Xiaomei heard his story, and was momentarily stunned. Bro, did I hear that right? You want to chase a high-speed train on a motorcycle? Do you know how fast those trains go? It's not that I won't lend it to you, but there's no way you can catch it. Hai Xiaomei often takes the high-speed rail herself, so she knows its terrifying speed. It easily exceeds 300 kilometers per hour. How could a motorcycle ever reach that speed? And even if it did, the way a train operates is totally different from a bike. Just now she rode at 70 miles per hour and felt like her body was flying while her soul chased behind. If you ride a motorcycle at 300 kilometers per hour, then if you ride well, you're just a pile of ashes. If you ride badly, you're a pile of ashes. Miss, have you heard the saying? Even though I know it's impossible, I still want to try. I'm afraid that if I miss this chance, it'll be forever. Let these 7 years of love burn one last time in the wind. One last time, burn against the wind. Just then, the young man said with tears in his eyes, and Hai Xiaomei, upon hearing this, stood frozen on the spot. He had no romantic experience, nor did he understand what a 7-year relationship really meant. But at that moment, he was truly moved by the young man before him. He extended his small hand and handed the motorcycle key to the young man. A smile blossomed on Hai Xiaomei's face as he said, brother, good luck. The young man took the key, nodding heavily. At that moment, a breeze swept in from the departing high-speed train, and the young man turned his head, looking into the distance. At the high-speed train that had already shot hundreds of meters away in the blink of an eye, he quickly said to Hai Xiaomei, Miss, no words can express my gratitude. She's on that train. I have to go after her. With that, the young man strode over to the motorcycle, put on his helmet, and started the engine. The next second, a roar cut through the air, and Hai Xiaomei's ponytail was blown into disarray. He stared at his motorcycle as it launched forward, and couldn't help but freeze for a moment. Why does it feel different from when I ride it? Hai Xiaomei watched blankly as the motorcycle quickly disappeared from his sight, then turned to look at the high-speed train beside him, already speeding along, and his pupils contracted sharply. By Hai Xiaomei's estimate, the train's current speed, if not 300 kilometers per hour, had to be at least 260 to 270. Yet the young man riding his motorcycle was closing the distance to the train at a rate visible to the naked eye. Everyone on the train who witnessed this scene felt a chill run from the soles of their feet straight up to the crown of their heads. Then the sound of phones being pulled out rang out one after another in the spotless train car. Some opened their cameras to capture this unbelievable scene. Others sent messages to their loved ones, telling them what they had just seen. They recounted the whole thing. But at the same time, everyone was also puzzled. Why would anyone ride a motorcycle that fast? Did he have a death wish? Sure, there were few cars on that road, but at such high speed, one loss of control would mean certain death in a wreck. Wait, everyone look! Everyone look! Just then, another shout suddenly rang out. They all looked in that direction and saw the motorcycle that had originally overtaken the train and disappeared from view, now back. But this time, the motorcycle was stopped, and beside it, a young man was down on one knee, gazing affectionately toward the train. He was clearly holding something up, though it was a bit far, and no one could make out what it was. Many guessed it was a ring. After a moment of silence in the train car, it was completely shattered by an uproar. That guy drove so fast, just to chase our train. He risked his life, pushing that bike to nearly 400 miles per hour, all for one person. There must be a girl on this train that he loves with all his heart. And by a certain window, a gentle-looking girl watched the boy on one knee and finally couldn't hold back her tears. She covered her mouth, tears streaming down like there was no tomorrow. Meanwhile, Hai Xiaomei, still waiting at the train station, had no idea about any of this. After the young man, named Zhangping, rode off on the motorcycle, Hai Xiaomei's eyes were full of worry. It wasn't that he was afraid Zhangping would crash the bike and not be able to pay for it. He was scared Zhangping might get hurt. After all, the speed before Zhangping left was way too fast. Now both the train and Zhangping on the motorcycle had disappeared completely. Of course Hai Xiaomei was worried. Brother, please don't let anything happen, or I'll regret lending you the bike forever. But just then, a faint engine roar suddenly reached Hai Xiaomei's ears. Hearing it, he immediately looked up toward the road. When he saw Zhangping riding back safely, Hai Xiaomei couldn't help but sigh in relief. As Zhangping pulled up and stopped, Hai Xiaomei quickly comforted him. Brother, it's okay if you didn't catch up. At least you tried. So no regrets. Miss, are you underestimating my skills? Actually, this bike is just way too powerful. Only someone with lousy skills like me would fail to catch up to a high-speed train. But I used to be a motorcycle enthusiast too, Zhangping said cheerfully. Hearing this time it was Hai Xiaomei's turn to be dumbfounded. The bike is too powerful? It's impossible not to catch a high-speed train? Brother, are you saying you caught up? Hai Xiaomei asked with an exaggerated expression. Zhangping nodded happily. Then he turned to look at the motorcycle behind him, a deep sense of awe still lingering in his eyes. At first, I also thought catching a high-speed train was nearly impossible. But to leave myself with no regrets, I got on your bike and floored it, shifting gears hard. Then I was shocked to find that under your bike's speed, the high-speed train, famous for its velocity, in my eyes, seemed to crawl like a snail. I thought the train was just running too slow. But when I glanced down at the dashboard, I saw a number, 400 miles per hour. Converted to kilometers, that's over 600 kilometers per hour. And I know, that's not even your bike's top speed, because I didn't even twist the throttle all the way. So miss, don't joke with me. With this bike, there's no way you can't catch a high-speed train. Catching a plane would be no problem either. A Jing just messaged me, saying she'll wait for me at the next station. Miss, thank you. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you and your bike, we really might have missed each other. Zhangping looked at Hai Xiaomei, saying this with great gratitude. Then he glanced at the time and said apologetically, Miss, I'm sorry. I need to quickly buy a ticket and take the next train to find a Jing. With that, he once again expressed his deep thanks to Hai Xiaomei and then hurriedly ran toward the station entrance. What he didn't know was that his words of thanks didn't register with Hai Xiaomei at all. After he finished talking about the motorcycle that Xinfei built, Hai Xiaomei was completely stunned. He stared blankly at the bike beside him and couldn't help but swallow hard. Catching a high-speed train is nothing. Catching a plane is no problem either. Xinfei, my brother Fei, what kind of motorcycle did you build for me? Sorry, I was too loud before. Brother Fei, you're no scammer. You're genuinely the greatest manufacturer under heaven. You didn't even charge me for fuel, probably, because it went over budget, right? 500,000 wasn't enough at all, was it? You've been way too good to me, not cheating me out of a single cent. At that moment, my image of Hai Xiaomei instantly became towering and noble. And as for the motorcycle parked in front of him, Hai Xiaomei's mood couldn't have been higher. Nothing like how he used to hate its look before. It can bring a couple back together. That's love for you. This is the most beautiful motorcycle. Good review, brother Fei. I'm giving you full marks. 10 out of 10. On the way back, Hai Xiaomei's mood was over the moon. A complete 180 from when she came. But what she didn't know yet, because of her motorcycle, a storm had already erupted online. All of this was because the passengers on that high-speed train had posted the videos they took online. In no time, any netizen scrolling through videos got flooded with this story. Out of 10 videos, at least 8 were of Zhangping riding a motorcycle chasing the high-speed train, a jaw-dropping scene. Charging for love. The topic, riding a motorcycle to chase a high-speed train, shot straight to #1 on the trending list. Countless netizens were moved by this love story. Inside a private villa in Yanjing, Pai Yu, a well-known female motorcycle vlogger, faced the camera. She played the video of the motorcycle chasing the train for her live stream audience. Did everyone watch carefully? The whole video is 9 seconds long, and the motorcycle in the video, within those 9 seconds, passed 26 utility poles. Based on the recent planning and construction of Modu's municipal department, the distance between each pole on Changhua Avenue is a standard 55 meters. 26 poles, 55 meters apart, 9 seconds. Putting these data together, we can deduce that the motorcycle in the video was going a terrifying 600 plus kilometers per hour. Crazy. This is just too insane. I've been riding motorcycles for years, and I've never seen such a beastly bike. Pai Yu couldn't help clicking her tongue in amazement, staring at the motorcycle in the video. Her eyes were filled with longing, even though the bike's appearance was blurry, and you couldn't really make out its shape. To Pai Yu, with performance like that, looks didn't matter at all anymore. Even if I can't own a bike like that, just letting me ride it once would make my life worth living. Pai Yu was daydreaming, and her 100,000 plus viewers in the live stream were totally stunned by her analysis. Even though the image of a motorcycle chasing a high-speed train had already hit the waterfriends hard, they still had no real concept of the bike's top speed back then. Now, hearing Pai Yu break it down, hundreds of thousands of netizens felt their scalps tingle. Holy crap, did I hear that right? 600 plus kilometer per hour? I usually drive at 120, and I feel like my soul is chasing after me. That motorcycle's top speed is actually a terrifying 600 plus. Is that guy riding it not afraid to die? The Grim Reaper. I want to take him too. But I can't catch up. I feel like the helmet that guy's wearing is kind of unnecessary. I can only say those 9 seconds of his are more exciting than my whole life. Take the Kawasaki H2R, the dream bike of every rider. For example, It has a 998 cubic centimeters displacement and 310 horsepower. It can reach 400 kilometers per hour in 26 seconds, known as the ground flying machine. 400 kilometers per hour already exceeds the normal speed of a high-speed train. But these numbers were tested on a dedicated racetrack. Those roads are not only smooth and flat, they also have the perfect hardness structure for riding. Under those conditions, the Kawasaki H2R can hit a top speed of 400 kilometers per hour. But Donghua Avenue, forget about having those conditions. There's probably loads of little pebbles on the road. Under those circumstances, for that motorcycle to reach 600 plus kilometer per hour, do you know what that means? It means the engine, the transmission, and the stability are absolutely at a level that surpasses any motorcycle brand on the market by at least one tier. Otherwise, a pebble the size of a thumb would be enough to destroy a bike going 600 kilometers per hour. And there's another thing I think can't be ignored. The video is only 9 seconds long, but the time the bike actually chased the train is definitely more than 9 seconds. The whole process probably lasted over 2 minutes. Kawasaki H2R, top speed 400 kilometers per hour, riding for 1 minute. Would already make the engine scream. But that bike at 600 kilometers per hour rode for a full 2 minutes, and nothing happened. I don't even know what words to use to describe it. This has completely shattered my understanding of motorcycles. Saying it's the unparalleled king of the motorcycle world right now, I don't think that's an exaggeration at all. By the end of Pai Yu's speech, the excitement in her beautiful eyes was already impossible to hide, and the water friends in the live stream, after hearing everything Pai Yu said, were utterly shocked. The motorcycle they saw in the video could actually be called the most badass motorcycle in the world right now. The Kawasaki H2R already costs 720,000 yuan a unit. Then this bike, which is way above the Kawasaki H2R by several levels, must be worth easily over 1 million yuan, no problem. While netizens were speculating wildly, Hai Xiaomei, the actual owner of the motorcycle, had no idea about any of this. She was leisurely cruising down the highway on her bike, and because she was in such a great mood, she casually started a live stream. Feeling good today? Streaming for half an hour, alright? Hearing Hai Xiaomei's light and happy voice, the live stream's barrage of comments paused for a moment, then exploded like a tidal wave. Wait, did I hear that right? Feeling good? Did the old lady get her head slammed in a door? After being ripped off by that swindler brother Fei, she's actually in a good mood? Damn it, I can't take this anymore. Totally can't take it. Shouldn't the old lady be heartbroken and crying? I fucking came here to watch her cry. Brothers, is there a possibility that the old lady has fallen for brother Fei? Getting scammed by the one she loves. To the old lady, that's a kind of happiness? The viewers in the live stream were getting more and more ridiculous. Hai Xiaomei glanced at the comments while writing. As luck would have it, she spotted those exact few lines. Immediately, the corner of Hai Xiaomei's eye started twitching. Hey, damn it, do I look that desperate for a man? Before Hai Xiaomei could finish her sentence, she suddenly let out a scream. The water friends in front of the screen heard Hai Xiaomei scream, and saw her and her bike both squeezed against the roadside. When they looked back at the live stream, the water friends were stunned for a moment. See our crash, right then. Hai Xiaomei, along with her motorcycle, had fallen over on the side of the road, and to her left front, a flashy Ferrari F90 also slowly came to a stop. After the Ferrari F90 stopped, a fashionably dressed man, but who at first glance seemed a bit effeminate, stepped out. After getting out, he didn't even spare a glance at Hai Xiaomei, who was still lying on the ground not far away. Instead, he walked around his multi-million-dollar sports car to inspect it. Then, with a sour expression, he glared at Hai Xiaomei. Sell your house, man. The sudden words made Hai Xiaomei pause for a moment. Then she forced herself to stand up despite the pain, and terribly aggrieved. She said, "You were the one who suddenly swerved out to turn." The man sneered at that. Then, a hint of absurdity appeared on his pale face. "Are you messing with me? Funny? You're the one who wasn't watching the road. I'm so done with you motorcycle chicks. Do you even know how much the damage from your crappy motorcycle costs?" The man crossed his arms, looking down his nose at Hai Xiaomei, and Hai Xiaomei seemed to realize she had just been riding her motorcycle while streaming. Even if the traffic cops came, he'd probably have to pay compensation. Lei Jun just went along with it. So Hai Xiaomei gritted her teeth and said, "I can pay for the damage to your sports car, but you also have to pay for my motorcycle." As Hai Xiaomei spoke, she turned to look at the motorcycle I had given her. From the collision just now, not only did Lei Jun's Ferrari sports car get a scratch, but Hai Xiaomei's motorcycle shell was badly damaged. And if it weren't for that shell absorbing most of the impact, Hai Xiaomei's leg wouldn't just have a cut. It would be much worse. Fine, let's do it your way. My time is very valuable, and I don't want to waste any more on you. Give me 5 million. As for your piece of junk here, 3,000 is more than enough to cover it, right? Lei Jun waved his hand impatiently, and when Hai Xiaomei heard that, she was stunned on the spot. F5 million. Bro, are you a robber? Lei Jun looked at Hai Xiaomei's exaggerated expression, and couldn't help curling his lip again. Is 5 million that expensive? If you can't afford it, reflect on yourself. Have you worked hard enough all these years? Has your salary gone up? Don't wait until you actually need money to realize you're a failure. Forget it. I'm not going to waste words with you. I'll call the police and let them handle it. As Lei Jun spoke, he already started to pull out his phone to make a call. Seeing that, Hai Xiaomei gritted her teeth and said, "If you say 5 million, then 5 million. It's not like I've never seen a sports car. Even if you repaint this car and repair it, 200,000 at most is the ceiling. I can pay you 200,000. But you also have to fix my motorcycle. Let me make this clear. I don't want money. I just want you to restore my motorcycle to its original condition. By the end, Hai Xiaomei's eyes couldn't help showing a trace of heartache. The motorcycle Shun Fei had given her. She absolutely loved it now. Now that the shell was deformed from the crash. Of course, she was heartbroken. Globally, my Ferrari F90 is one of a kind. Needless to say, with Mr. Manzoni's personal touch added to it. And as for your crappy motorcycle, you want me to find someone to fix it? I don't have that kind of time. The money I make in an hour could buy who knows how many of your junk bikes. Here's 100,000. That should cover your crappy motorcycle, right? This bike is so ugly. It's absolutely hideous. One more second of looking at it dirties my eyes. Now that I've paid for it, it's mine to deal with. Eru, smash it to pieces. Lei Jun threw a bank card on the ground, then turned his head to look at a burly man standing not far away. The viewers in the live stream hadn't noticed before, but someone had gotten out of Lei Jun's car. Now that burly man, who looked like a bodyguard named Eru, heard Lei Jun's order and immediately shook his shoulders, starting to walk towards Hai Xiaomei's motorcycle. Along the way, the big man also picked up a brick from the ground, clearly intending to do as Lei Jun said, smash that motorcycle into pieces. Seeing the big man holding the brick, Hai Xiaomei would be lying if she said she wasn't scared, but she couldn't just stand by and watch her beloved motorcycle get destroyed. Stop. Stop right there. Don't touch my motorcycle. Hai Xiaomei gathered her courage and blocked the big man, but the big man didn't even look at her, simply shoving her aside. Just as the big man raised the brick in his hand, ready to bring it down hard on the motorcycle, Hai Xiaomei was so anxious that tears instantly streamed down her face. I don't want your money. Don't smash my bike. But just as the brick in the big man's hand was about to hit the motorcycle, a dull thud suddenly rang out. Then Hai Xiaomei looked up, her pretty face still streaked with tears, and her expression froze in surprise. A few foreign men in suits suddenly appeared, and then they directly shoved Lei Jun's bodyguard away, a good 7 or 8 meters, before Hai Xiaomei could react. A foreign old man with silver hair rushed out. He threw himself next to Hai Xiaomei's motorcycle, and with a mournful face said, "Oh God, who did this? Who did this? I curse him in the name of Jesus. Curse him." The old man, as he spoke, actually started wiping away tears. Now not only was Hai Xiaomei dumbfounded, but Lei Jun beside her also couldn't help frowning slightly. However, looking at the old man and those sharply dressed foreigners, Lei Jun didn't dare to be too arrogant. "Who are you?" Lei Jun's voice echoed softly in the scene, but the foreign old man didn't even glance at him. Instead, he muttered to himself, then turned excitedly to Hai Xiaomei. "Dear honored lady, I am the head of Chrysler Group's Dragon Country region. 20 minutes ago, our group's information department found a gentleman named Zhang Ping. Through consulting with Mr. Zhang, we learned that the magical motorcycle that broke 600 kilometers per hour is yours. Now, on behalf of Chrysler Group, I greet you, honorable lady, and we hope you can transfer this noble motorcycle to us. Of course, rest assured, we will offer you a satisfactory price." The old man's gleaming eyes gave Hai Xiaomei the creeps, and his words, spoken in fluent Chinese, made Hai Xiaomei's expression freeze. As for the countless viewers in the live stream, after a moment of silence, they completely exploded. Holy crap, am I hearing this right? The foreign old man means the motorcycle that chased the bullet train is that old lady's? That bike that countless bloggers hyped up, the god-tier motorcycle in the biker community, was actually made by Brother Fei? Didn't everyone say it was just capital marketing? Wife, slap me. I think I'm hallucinating from watching this stream. Seeing that Hai Xiaomei was still stunned, Myud turned to Lei Jun with a blank expression. Then Myud gently waved his hand, and the few sharply dressed foreign big men beside him immediately walked toward Lei Jun. They moved. Lei Jun saw this. His throat moved. He swallowed hard and stammered, What are you doing? This is a society governed by law. Hitting someone is a crime." Before Lei Jun could finish, a dull thud sounded. The foreign big men weren't coming for him at all. Instead, they passed him by, pulled out riot batons, and smashed them into his multi-million-dollar sports car, one hit after another. The sound of metal on metal echoed through the scene. In just a few seconds, Lei Jun's once arrogant Ferrari sports car was smashed to pieces. Watching this, Lei Jun's eyes couldn't help twitching violently, but intimidated by the foreign big men's presence, he didn't dare say a word. Not far away, Hai Xiaomei had now snapped out of her daze. She had come to, looking at the scene before her eyes. She quickly spoke up. "Uncle Myud, I didn't say I'd sell you the motorcycle." Hai Xiaomei thought Myud was standing up for her, but hearing his words, Myud slowly shook his head. He said, "My esteemed young lady, this has nothing to do with whether you sell me the motorcycle or not. He damaged this gift from God to humanity. Of course I have to punish him for it. What a perfect motorcycle. Because of this idiot, it now has a flaw." Shaking his head at Hai Xiaomei. After saying that, Myud then turned coldly toward Lei Jun. "Your car is now totaled. Later, our Chrysler Group will compensate you with one exactly the same. But for the damage you did to this motorcycle, our Chrysler Group is willing to fully represent this esteemed young lady and file a legal lawsuit against you. If the motorcycle shell can be restored to its original state, that would be best. If not, then you will face the strictest punishment from the law. Our entire Chrysler Group legal department will treat this matter as the highest priority. Of course, before that, I must remind you of something. The shell of this motorcycle has a very direct relationship with its terrifying stability. Currently, this technology has never appeared anywhere in the world." Myud's words, one after another, echoed through the scene. Lei Jun was completely stunned. thinking about what he was about to face. The entire legal department of a multinational group, Lei Jun, couldn't help trembling. As for the countless netizens in the stream room, because of Mud's words, they finally understood why Mud, as a regional general manager, would stand up for Hai Xiaomei. At this point, the root cause was still the motorcycle Shun Fei had built. Uncle Mud, thank you so much, but I still can't sell you the motorcycle. But you can. Go place an order with Brother Fei. Do you know Shun Fei? This motorcycle of mine was built for me by Brother Fei. When the name Shun Fei came up, Hai Xiaomei had the expression of a devoted fangirl. And Mud, upon hearing this, suddenly shook his head and gave a bitter smile. Since we've already found you, miss, we've of course figured out the true source of this motorcycle. At the very first moment, we already placed an order with Mr. Shun Fei and sincerely proposed a cooperation intent to him. But Mr. Shun Fei's reply to us was, not interested. Mr. Shun Fei only sells products, not patents. Of course, if we can figure out Mr. Shun Fei's motorcycle technology, he also allows us to use it, but we'll need to pay some patent fees. So that's why we're so eager to. How about this, my esteemed young lady? On behalf of the group, I would like to rent this amazing motorcycle from you. For a period of time. It won't be too long. 3 days is enough. After 3 days, I will return the motorcycle to you intact. Mud looked at Hai Xiaomei with hopeful eyes as he said this, and hearing his words, Hai Xiaomei didn't refuse. It's only a rental for 3 days. She could accept that. As for the millions of viewers in a stream room, hearing this, the bullet comments instantly exploded again. Is this my idol Brother Fei? That's so cool. Only sells products. Doesn't sell patents. Facing a big group like Chrysler, Brother Fei doesn't waver at all. I can already imagine that Brother Fei turned down what was probably an astronomical figure. Duh, a 10 million yuan motorcycle. That old man Mud smashed it without a second thought. The price he offered Brother Fei must have been over 9 digits. All I can say is, the technical value embedded in the motorcycle Brother Fei built is immeasurable. Brother Fei is great in every way, except he has too many orders. When will it be my turn? The countless viewers in the stream room were buzzing with discussion, completely unable to stop, and the smart ones had already rushed into my stream room. Although, as usual, my stream room is only used to accept orders, and never actually goes live. But at this moment, the number of viewers flooding into my stream room had completely gone through the roof. 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, until the stream's popularity once soared to 8 million. Only then did the growth slow down. And now, my pending orders have skyrocketed to over 800,000. And this number is still growing at an insane rate. Most importantly, the prices of these orders are ridiculously high. Currently, among the top 10 orders, the lowest price has already exceeded 1 million. They're all coming to me for custom motorcycles. The top 5 are major motorcycle manufacturers, and the prices they're offering have already reached as high as 3 million. Obviously, they have the same goal as Chrysler Group, to buy a motorcycle I built, in order to research the technologies I used in it. But to their disappointment, as of now, I haven't taken on a single order yet. In the stream room, countless netizens and motorcycle manufacturers are waiting for me to accept orders. But several hours have passed, and there's still no movement on my end. It seems I'm not even paying attention to the stream room right now. Many motorcycle enthusiasts got a bit anxious, so they flocked to Chrysler Group's official website. After all, at this point, they are the only group that holds a Shun Fei motorcycle. And even if I do accept orders, at most I'll only take one. But if Chrysler Group here makes a breakthrough, the outcome would be completely different. Maybe in the near future, everyone could have a Shun Fei brand motorcycle. Has old Chris figured out Brother Fei's motorcycle yet? We're waiting for you to build it. If you can build an identical motorcycle, we'll all buy from you. Yeah, old Chris, whether you can fulfill our motorcycle dreams. All depends on you. Kawasaki Group, can you Chrysler guys do it or not? If not, hand the motorcycle over to us for research. Suzuki Motorcycles, old Kawasaki's not wrong. If you can't, swap people out. Don't squat on the toilet and not shit. Under Chrysler's official website, the comment section is now as lively as it gets. It's not just ordinary motorcycle enthusiasts coming to urge them on. Even several major motorcycle manufacturers are showing up to put pressure on Chrysler Group. Under such high pressure, Chrysler's official website quickly gave a response. After conducting a comprehensive inspection of the motorcycle built by Mr. Shun Fei, we are sorry to inform all fans and friends following Chrysler Group. First of all, regarding certain technologies in the motorcycle built by Mr. Shun Fei, we are currently unable to make a breakthrough. Estimated minimum of 3 years. Secondly, after testing, we discovered that the top speed of this motorcycle is not over 600 kilometers per hour, but can actually reach 798 kilometers per hour, close to 800 kilometers per hour. And this is still because the materials Mr. Shun Fei used are not the optimal ones. For certain materials, Mr. Shun Fei seems to have deliberately economized. If Mr. Shun had not economized, then we believe the speed could easily exceed 800. Certain materials, Mr. Shun Fei seems to be deliberately saving. If Mr. Fei were not saving, then we believe the speed could easily exceed 800. Finally, we, Chrysler and the board of directors, have collectively decided to extend an indefinite cooperation invitation to Mr. Shun Fei. He is already the future and hope of the motorcycle industry. Motorcycles will shine because of him. This announcement from the Chrysler Group is full of information. Once released, it was like on a calm lake, throwing a huge stone, causing waves and uproar. Not only were countless netizens stunned, even major motorcycle manufacturers fell silent. Stunned, absolutely stunned. 600 is not even the top speed. 800 can be easily achieved. Brother Fei, what you built is not a motorcycle. It's clearly a ground-based flying machine. Motorcycles will shine because of Brother Fei. Please remember, this is the evaluation of a listed group for Brother Fei. No wonder Brother Fei dared to say, let them study it freely. Even patent fees can be discounted. So Brother Fei knew from the start that Chrysler couldn't figure out anything at all. Am I the only one who noticed the words material savings? Brother Fei really did rip off the old lady's money. Ha ha, putting it nicely, it's material savings. Putting it bluntly, it's cutting corners. Brother Fei truly lives up to his reputation as a profiteer investor. Still that same line. You can trust Brother Fei's skills, but his moral character is never worth scrutinizing. Ha ha, I'm cracking up. I just want to know how much money Brother Fei made from these 2 orders. I'm dying of curiosity. Comments one after another. Simply unstoppable. But without a doubt, this announcement from the Chrysler Group completely elevated Shen Fei and his godlike manufacturing shop to an unparalleled level. Everyone finally understood. Godlike manufacturing shop fulfills all your fantasies. This shop slogan wasn't me having a Chinibu hipster episode, but the truth is just that. So in a short time, my shop orders started another round of explosive growth. Many netizens who weren't interested in motorcycles finally let their imagination run wild and started placing different kinds of orders with me. At the suburban manufacturing shop, I really didn't keep an eye on the online buzz anymore. After knowing, hey, little sister, after causing an online sensation with the motorcycle I built for her, I immediately used the system to purchase a lot of equipment and place them in the workshop behind my shop. I can't be unaware of the saying, fame brings trouble. Now with so much attention on me online, one day my little shop will be exposed. If by then, someone finds out my shop is just a shell, that would be quite troublesome. Fortunately, behind my shop, there is a very large workshop, so I bought a lot of equipment from the system mall and directly moved them into the workshop. At first glance, my shop now looks pretty decent. However, this equipment also used up the money I earned from the 2 orders. Almost completely spent. My account balance now has less than 2,000 yuan left. Clapped my hands, dusted off the dirt from working in the workshop, and sat back down in front of the computer, planning to take the 3rd order. Now, I'm still far from completing the system's 10 million upgrade points task. Very far off. However, as soon as I opened the live stream and saw the tags in the shop impression column, my eyelids couldn't help twitching a few times. Technical God, 1.08 million likes. Snail efficiency, 960,000 likes. Derelict streamer who never starts streaming, 740,000 likes. If Shen Fei could still accept these, then profiteer boss, 5.78 million likes. What the heck is that? Sigh, isn't it just a tiny bit of cost savings? You guys can't just focus on the materials and ignore everything else. I couldn't help muttering. Forget it, I don't care. Profiteer it is then. It's all forced by the system. And they only guessed I made money. They definitely can't guess exactly how much. I said quite confidently, but just then, a system notification sound completely stunned me. Ding, periodic financial report is being generated. Estimated completion within 1 week. The system will automatically broadcast the financial report in the host's live stream. The system's gentle voice rang in my mind, but at this moment, I felt the system's voice was so cold. After a full 10 seconds of silence, I finally roared with a dark face. System, I said, are you kidding me? My tiny little manufacturing shop is not some listed group. What kind of financial report are you publishing? You told me to rip people off. Now you're turning around and stabbing me in the back. Are you even human? Or do you think I've lived too long? Want those customers to come and kill me? My chest heaved violently. The murderous intent in my eyes seemed about to materialize. It's just that the system is intangible. Otherwise, I'd really want to give it a proper send-off. Now, netizens are still just guessing how much I ripped off. Once the financial report is published, I think whether the profiteer investor title is confirmed won't matter anymore. I'm just afraid that one day, the address of this shop gets leaked. There will be piles of razor blades at the door as high as a mountain. I was fuming with anger. Meanwhile, the system, after sounding the notification, fell completely silent. To my roaring, there was no response at all. Took a deep breath. I knew there was no talking to the system. This system is purely out to mess with him. Sat up straight in front of the computer again. I continued with a dark face to start picking orders. But seeing the dazzling array of orders and their high prices, my mood did ease up a bit. Although after the Chrysler Group announced that the technology of the motorcycle I built is temporarily unbreakable, all major motorcycle manufacturers gave up, and prices have not been raised further. But now, the prices of the top few orders have reached between 3 million and 3.5 million. At this price, if I take a few more motorcycle orders, I can quickly gather 10 million upgrade points to upgrade the system to phase 3. But while upgrading the system is important, in this process, fully enjoying self-challenge and breakthrough, I think is more important. Otherwise, later when the system upgrades to phase 3, or even 4th, 5th, 6th phases, the functions will be greatly enhanced, but I might not be able to keep up with the system's pace. With this thought, I stopped what I was doing, planning to wait for a suitable order to appear before taking it. Or later, if there really are no other orders, then just pick the highest priced order. But just then, an order suddenly appeared on the order receiving backend and directly jumped to the number 1 spot. The originally top-ranked motorcycle order with an amount of over 3.5 million was left far behind by it. I was slightly stunned at the sight, then casually clicked to open the details of that order. At first glance, my eyebrows furrowed slightly. I looked at it 2 more times, and my eyes grew brighter and brighter. You're the one. As I accepted the new order, an uproar erupted online. Tiger Shark Live streaming platform, the live stream I used to run my shop. The millions of viewers gathered here in the stream, watching the order I had just accepted, were all dumbfounded. Dammy Technology. Holy crap, it's actually Dammy Technology. Brother Fei's big name. Has it already reached Lei Busi? Wait, is this really Lei Busi's Dammy? They placed an order for a new energy vehicle with Brother Fei. No need to think about it. It definitely is. Order amount, 9.99 million. I can tell with my eyes closed that's Chairman Lei's price. Hey, Chairman Lei, you're being foolish. How much of that 9.99 million is Brother Fei gonna rip you off for? And Brother Fei only sells products. He doesn't sell patents. Isn't 9.99 million way too expensive for one car? I feel like Brother Fei, that profiteer, is just fishing. And now, it seems he's hooked a big fish like Lei Busi. Haha, is it the kind where he quits after making 10 million? If that's the case, Brother Fei could retire after this one order. Anyway, I think our dear Chairman Lei is about to get royally screwed by Brother Fei. Motorcycles and cars are completely different beasts, especially new energy vehicles. They're packed with tech. That's not something one person can accomplish. Yeah. Back when Brother Fei built that motorcycle for Hi Little Sister, you guys said the same thing. That computers and motorcycles are totally different. And what happened? Alright, stop arguing. You've been going on for ages without saying anything useful. What's Lei Busi thinking? Just go ask Dammy Group directly. Problem solved. After all the discussion among the millions of viewers in the stream room, they all left my stream and went to leave comments on Dammy's official website. At that time, inside Dammy Group's headquarters in Yanjing, many of Dammy Technology's directors were gathered together, already arguing like a pot of porridge. All of this was because of the order Lei Busi placed with me. Countless netizens might not know yet that Lei Busi's decision to place the order with me was entirely his own call, without any approval from the board of directors. Now, while this matter was brewing online, the board of directors of Dammy Technology, the directors, couldn't help but slam the table at Lei Busi. Chairman Lei, you have to give us an explanation for this. We've all heard of that Xin Fei. He's impressive, but only in computers and motorcycles. And our Dammy Auto, from the start of R&D until now, has already poured in no less than tens of billions, something that tens of billions couldn't develop. And now you, for a little over 10 million, hand it over to a small shop owner on a live stream platform? Isn't that nonsense? Lin Jianxing, vice chairman of Dammy Group's board and also head of Dammy Auto division, said with a furrowed brow. His nonsense was undoubtedly a severe challenge to Lei Busi's authority, and the rest of the board were quite used to this, showing no surprise on their faces. In fact, they all knew in their hearts that to outsiders, Lei Busi is the absolute face of Dammy Group. But over the past 2 years, the Lin faction, led by Lin Jianxing, has been gradually marginalizing Lei Busi, especially a year ago, after Lin Jianxing became the head of Dammy Auto R&D. This situation has intensified, so Lei Busi, without board resolution, directly placed an order for a new energy vehicle with me, which in Lin Jianxing's eyes was no different from Lei Busi swinging a knife at him. That's why he was so agitated. This point, everyone with eyes in the room had already noticed. The directors in the meeting room exchanged glances, then all turned in unison to look at Lei Busi sitting in the chairman's seat, wondering how he would respond to Lin Jianxing's words. As for the internal power struggle in Dammy Group, they hadn't picked sides yet. Logically, given Lei Busi's track record over the years and his position within Dammy Group, there was no reason not to side with him. But Lin Jianxing was no simple figure either. Rumor had it that he had backing from big shots in Yanjing, the kind whose ancestors had made great contributions to the progress of the era. Now that things had reached this point, they all smelled a hint of a final showdown. They just didn't know this time whether Lei Busi could get rid of Lin Jianxing and take full control of Dammy Group back into his own hands, or if Lin Jianxing would come from behind and completely crush Lei Busi. Haha, it's just a 10 million spending limit. Do I have to report to you just to spend 10 million? In response to Lin Jianxing, Lei Busi appeared completely unfazed and said with a smile, only when the group has a major expenditure do we need to call a board meeting for collective decision-making. But that's at least a few billion in spending. This is just a measly 10 million. There's really no need for me to inform Lin Jianxing or the board. Hearing this, Lin Jianxing looked up at Lei Busi, and suddenly, a mix of grief and anger appeared on his face. He pursed his lips with an extremely grave expression and said, Chairman Lei, 10 million is small, but its impact on Dammy Group is immeasurable. Don't you really understand that? Within 15 minutes of the news that you placed an order with that Shun Fei spreading, Dammy Technology's stock in Hong Kong started fluctuating. Now our investors and shareholders are all questioning Dammy Group's capability. A publicly traded company, currently focused on the new energy vehicle sector, is outsourcing to a tiny shop owner. If this continues, Dammy Group could be destroyed. I suggest immediately canceling the order cooperation with Xin Fei, and you personally announce that this was all just a misunderstanding. At the same time, increase investment in Dammy Auto so the shareholders can see our Dammy Group's commitment to the new energy vehicle sector. Lin Jianxing's expression shifted from grave to impassioned, his words spoken with great fervor, as if he alone cared about the group. After hearing this, Lei Busi couldn't help but laugh heartily, his smile even brighter than before. Look everyone, Director Lin here really has some acting chops. I say, Director Lin, why don't you just go into the movie business? I guarantee you'd win an Oscar. Lei Busi said with a smile on his face, but his words were like slaps, landing directly on Lin Jianxing's face. In the meeting room, it instantly fell into a deathly silence. Many directors looked at Lei Busi, their bodies trembling involuntarily, as if at that moment, they remembered who was standing before them. It was Lei Busi, who peaked at the start, whose poorest days still saw him with 4 billion, when the two Ma's of the same era were still stuck in some obscure corner. But these subtle changes in the director's expressions did not escape Lin Jinqing's eyes. With Lei Busi's words still echoing in his ears, Lin Jinqing's face turned extremely gloomy. Chairman Lei, what do you mean by that? Are you insulting me? Lin Jinqing's low voice reverberated through the meeting room. Lei Busi slowly wiped the smile off his face. You say my decision caused Dami Group's stock to fluctuate. Let me ask you. Pouring money endlessly into Dami Auto, without seeing any results, doesn't that make the stock fluctuate? It's been a year. A year. Lin Jinqing, I have absolutely no patience left. You say I'm insulting you? Aren't you bringing humiliation upon yourself? Lei Busi stared at Lin Jinqing with icy eyes, totally unlike his usual friendly demeanor. His expression was frighteningly unfamiliar, and Lin Jinqing, hearing this, fell into silence. After a full few seconds, Lin Jinqing slowly raised his head. Since Chairman Lei has put it this way, then I have nothing more to say. I want to sign a bet agreement with you. 3 days. Give me 3 days. If I cannot lead Daming Motors to produce the first Daming car, the S7, then I will hand over the position of head of Daming Motors division. But if I succeed, you will need to resign as executive director. Chairman Lei, I wonder if you dare to accept? As Lin Jinqing finished speaking, the conference room immediately broke into murmurs of commotion. All the board members had guessed that the two might go big today, but didn't expect it to reach this level. Director Lin, think twice. Don't act impulsively. Chairman Lei, Director Lin, he's just speaking in anger. Please don't take it to heart. Oh, you two titans, let's all calm down and have some tea first. Talk slowly, talk slowly. The board members started speaking one after another, all advising Lin Jinqing and Lei Busi. But Lin Jinqing seemed deaf to the surrounding voices, staring straight at Lei Busi, as if ready to fight Lei Busi to the death. And facing Lin Jinqing's sharp, aggressive gaze, Lei Busi suddenly appeared somewhat calm. He slowly leaned back in his chair, then casually tossed a document onto the table. Since it's a bet, why not make it bigger? I will, as executive director of Dami Group, issue a public announcement. 3 days from now, at Beishan Square, a launch ceremony for Dami Motors will be held. You bring Dami Group's S7. I'll bring the car Shinfei gave me. Then we'll see who wins, you or me. If you win, I'll not only give up my position as executive director, I can even reduce my shares in Dami Group. But if you lose, I don't want to see you at Dami ever again. All the Dami Group shares you hold must also be completely sold off and exited. Lei Busi's voice was not loud, but his words were like thunder, exploding in everyone's ears. No one had expected that Lei Busi had already drafted the bet agreement in advance. After the dozen or so board members in the room came to their senses, they all turned in unison to look at Lei Busi, thinking he must be crazy. From Lei Busi's bet agreement, Lin Jinqing now had all the advantages of timing and position. After all, Dami Motors had already been in development for a year, with countless funds invested, and now Lei Busi actually wanted to bring only his 9.99 million partner, Shinfei, to bet against Lin Jinqing. It was no less than Lei Busi and Shinfei taking on the entire Dami Group. Many board members looked at each other, their complex eyes involuntarily showing a trace of absurdity and sincere respect. They had never imagined that one day, Lei Busi would, as an outsider, personally fight against the Dami he himself built. And what they could understand was that Lei Busi's move, whether good or bad for him personally, was the best thing for Dami Group. Because, regardless of whether Lin Jinqing and Lei Busi succeed or fail, Dami Group will be the ultimate winner. The internal struggle between Jinqing and Lei Busi will end in this gentle, unnoticed manner, quietly concluding. It won't cause any negative impact. Most people won't even know about it. With this thought, every board member in the room couldn't help but cast respectful looks at Lei Busi. At least at this moment, Lei Busi had completely conquered them in terms of character. But when it came to interests, the board members present would ultimately all choose to stand behind Lin Jinqing. Because from the moment Lei Busi proposed this bet agreement, not a single board member believed that he could win with just 10 million in capital. 3 days' time. Even if Shinfei was incredible, and the media had hyped him up as a godlike figure, they still didn't think Shinfei could build a new energy vehicle that could win everyone over. Chairman Lei, why put yourself through this? We do have disagreements on some matters. And I admit, I do want to become executive director of Dami Group, but I never intended to destroy you completely. Lin Jinqing's gaze wavered between Lei Busi and the bet agreement on the table, hesitating. His eyes showed slight hesitation. Lei Busi's actions had indeed shocked him. Ever since his first day at Xiaomi, Lin Jinqing knew that Lei Busi was a tough nut to crack, even with the backing of Yan Jing, whose background made Lei Busi deeply wary. Over the years, at Xiaomi, he had been thoroughly suppressed by Lei Busi at every turn. His peers from the same period, who had entered major companies, had already secured core positions, while he was still occasionally marginalized. And now, Lei Busi's bet agreement, in Lin Jinqing's view, was no different from Lei Busi, who was still in a superior position, suddenly waving a white flag and surrendering. This was really hard for Lin Jinqing to understand. Society is developing rapidly now. The next huge trend is faintly appearing. Maybe 5 years. Maybe just 3 years. It will arrive. I don't want because of you or me to hinder Dami's development. I hope that 100 years from now, Dami can still stand at the forefront of this era. So all of this was bound to come eventually. Now it's just a bit earlier. Facing Lin Jinxing's heartfelt words, Lei Busi did not press further. The tension in the conference room seemed to dissipate in an instant. Lin Jinxing stared blankly at Lei Busi, silent for a full 10 seconds. Then he bowed slightly, his voice full of respect. Chairman Lei, I am not your equal, but rest assured, with Dami in my hands, I will definitely take it further. Having said that, Lin Jinxing stood up, took the bet agreement, and neatly signed his name. Then he stood up, his expression returning to its initial coldness. Chairman Lei, I truly respect you, but this time, you have no way to win. Just 2 hours before you placed that order with Xinfei, our Dami Motors has already achieved a breakthrough. 3 days later, the S7 will dominate the new energy vehicle market. Please wait and see. With that, Lin Jinxing turned and walked out of the conference room. The many Dami Group board members present, seeing this, hesitated for a moment, then also stood up and left one after another. Before long, the large conference room was left with only Lei Busi alone. A creak, the sound of a chair moving. Lei Busi walked around the conference table, slowly approached the floor-to-ceiling window in the meeting room. Looking down from here, one could see the prosperity of the entire city. After gazing for a long time, he muttered to himself, will I definitely lose? He is, to this day, the most astonishing young man I've ever seen. He gives me a very familiar feeling, like myself back then. But I know, he is far more outstanding than I was when I was young. When Lei Busi placed his bet, all on Xinfei, at the same time, inside the suburban workshop, I had already stepped into the system's super laboratory. The matter of Lei Busi placing an order with me, the netizens know that it's an order for a new energy vehicle. Everyone knows that too. But the specific content of the order, only I myself am clear about. At this moment, standing in the primeval forest inside the super lab, I recall Lei Busi's lengthy, over 1,000-character order content. I couldn't help but purse my lips. The first sentence of the order, Lei Busi told me not to have any pressure. He knows that within 3 days, to have me build a new energy vehicle eye-catching enough is very difficult. Even if I fail, Lei Busi won't ask for the order money, and even less will he publicly declare my failure. To be honest, Lei Busi lives up to his name. When I saw these sentences, I already felt inclined to take the order. And after reading the rest of the order, Lei Busi's vision for the new energy vehicle, I completely decided to take this order. Gear type balance, shaft composite materials, production cost, battery, motor, electronic control, etc. And most importantly, the intelligent driving system. Chairman Lei, you really dare to make demands. Very challenging. But in my opinion, good, but still not good enough. Chairman Lei, wait for me to give you a big gift. After muttering, I opened the system shop, started picking out the materials needed for this new energy vehicle build. Although, I admire the excellent entrepreneur Lei Busi, but going all out? No way I'm going all out, because I had one more most important reason for taking the order I hadn't mentioned. That is, 9.99 million. As long as I put in some effort and save enough money, then the system's third phase can be directly unlocked. This temptation is just too great for me. Picking and choosing, spending over half an hour, I finally finished selecting all the materials needed for this new energy vehicle experiment. Total price, 98,000. After I paid, the 9.99 million Lei Busi transferred to me still had a full 9.892 million left, plus the points I earned earlier from Hi Little Sister. The points to unlock the third phase are just enough. No, I can only truly unlock the third phase after finishing this order from Lei Busi. Only then, otherwise, if I awaken the top military manufacturing of the third phase, I could add some serious tricks to Lei Busi's new energy vehicle. Add some serious tricks. But now, I can only make the most of my imagination. And another important point is that even if I fail, Lei Busi said he won't take back the order money. But if the experiment fails, the system will directly judge me as failed. And even if the money isn't taken back, I won't get the points for system upgrade. Looks like I need to give it my all next. Fortunately, time should be enough. I muttered to myself a couple of sentences. Then I threw my energy completely into making the new energy vehicle. As I worked day and night in the super lab, burying myself in hard work, little did I know that outside had already exploded. All of this, naturally, because of the announcement released by Dami Group. At Beishan Square, 3 days later, Dami Auto will, together with everyone, witness the birth of a miracle. Dami, born for fever. After news of Lei Busi placing an order with me spread, countless netizens had already rushed to Dami's official website platform. Originally, everyone wanted to find out what Lei Busi was really thinking. But who would have thought? Dami official directly dropped a bombshell on them. Excuse me, did I come to the wrong place? Are you sure this isn't the set of a big sci-fi movie? Originally thought, Chairman Lei just wanted to mess around with Brother Fei and make a car for fun. Who knew they'd play it this big? 3 days, just 3 days. You don't witness a miracle like this. I think since Dami Group has announced it like this, we just need to wait and see. In 3 days, we'll see if it's a mule or a horse. Take it for a spin. Countless netizens discussed and debated, seemingly having subconsciously assumed that at Beishan Square in 3 days, what Dami Group is about to show everyone is exactly that car order Lei Busi placed with me. As for the internal betting agreement between Lei Busi and Lin Jinxing, everyone is completely unaware. This kind of scene should be exactly what Lei Busi hoped to see. That is, regardless of whether Xinfei can successfully build the car in 3 days, Dami Group would already be in an invincible position. And because of me, now everyone is full of interest in Dami Group's new energy vehicle launch event. Inside the suburban workshop, I am completely unaware of the commotion outside. Right now, I am fully immersed in building the new energy vehicle in front of me. With previous experience building motorcycles, completing the frame structure of a car is not difficult for me. After all, the two actually share commonalities. Moreover, with the help of the system's cross-era fully automatic equipment, I don't have to put in any effort at all to make the materials reach the parameters I want. So in the Super Lab, I spent about 10 days, which is equivalent to less than half a day outside, and I had initially built the car frame and the assembly of various parts. This speed would leave even the world's most professional automotive groups stunned speechless. After all, without any template, I designed it based on my own idea of the most optimal functional state of a car. That's how I designed it. After completing the initial build, next I needed to work on some details. For example, the three crucial components of a new energy vehicle: battery, motor, and electronic control, etc. These things will determine how good the performance of Xunfei's new energy vehicle is. Compared to the first step, this process required more time from Xunfei. It took a full 20+ days. Only then did I get all this done. By now I had been in the Super Lab for a month, and in front of me, a complete new energy vehicle was already placed before me. Now, as long as I fully charge this car's battery, it can immediately speed down the road. But I know, if I end the experiment now, the system probably won't even give me a passing grade for this experiment. In other words, the system will directly judge this experiment a failure. Because the order content Lei Busi gave me, I've only completed half of it so far. This car in front of me, at best, can only be considered an ordinary car with a decent driving feel. It's nowhere near a top-tier new energy vehicle, because it still lacks the most important, and currently the biggest selling point of new energy vehicles, the intelligent driving system. Phew, I took a deep breath. I know that the real difficulty of this experiment begins now. After adjusting my mental state, feeling my spirits were sufficiently high, I plunged headfirst into building the intelligent driving system. Time, like sand slipping through fingers, silently passes away without notice. Thus 3 days flew by in a blink, and after breakfast time on the third day, on the large square at the foot of North Mountain, a sea of people had already begun to surge. Colorful banners bearing the 4 big characters, Demi Group, were hoisted high, fluttering in the wind, visible from hundreds of meters away. And it wasn't just ordinary people who were extremely interested in this Demi car launch event that had been brewing for 3 days. Even some business tycoons had gotten up early and sat expectantly in front of their TVs, waiting for Demi's live stream to begin. The live broadcast. Inside an antique-style villa in Shenzhen, Ren Jichuan, chairman of Huawei Group, was brewing tea with his own hands, while occasionally glancing up at the screen in front of him. Demi Group's press conference hadn't officially started yet, but the live stream was already rolling. The scene on screen showed a massive crowd, way more spectacular than when Huawei held theirs. Seeing this, Ren Jichuan's little niece, Jiang Qianqian, couldn't help pouting, and said, "Uncle, this is way too ridiculous. I know Xunfei is super popular and talented. A single person built the world's fastest and most stable motorcycle, making the whole Chrysler group desperate to recruit him. But Demi and our Huawei are clearly not on the same level right now. If you didn't know, you'd think Demi was the #1 tech company in Dragon Country." Jiang Qianqian's face showed clear displeasure, being deeply spoiled by Ren Jichuan. She always said whatever came to mind in front of him. And Ren Jichuan, looking at his beloved little niece, couldn't help shaking his head with a laugh. "Little girl, today you watch this live stream carefully. I believe you'll learn a lot. Demi Group may not match Huawei, but in terms of ability, 10 of your uncles can't match one Lei Busi." Ren Jichuan said seriously. His words might have had a note of humility, but it was very obvious that Ren Jichuan's evaluation of Lei Busi had reached the highest level. After Jiang Qianqian heard this, her big, beautiful eyes immediately began to blink in surprise. She shook Ren Jichuan's arm coquettishly and said in a sweet voice, "Uncle, have you figured something out? Tell me about it. Tell me, please." Ren Jichuan heard this and gave his little niece a helpless look. He picked up his teacup, took a sip, then said, all right. Your Uncle Lei's move here is clearly borrowing momentum." "Borrowing momentum?" Jiang Qianqian tilted her little head, her face full of confusion. Ren Jichuan paused for a breath, then continued, "Qianqian, actually you already saw it. Like you said, Demi's current scale can't compare with Huawei. But why is today's Demi car launch making a bigger splash than our Jijia S7 launch a while back? It's all because Lei Busi is leveraging the story of that young man Xunfei to make his point." Ren Jichuan couldn't help but look meaningfully at the screen in front of him. At that moment, the screen showed the official start of the press conference. With less than 5 minutes to go, Jiang Qianqian heard this, and her pretty eyes immediately widened. "Uncle, you mean Lei Busi placed the order with Xunfei, not because he expected Xunfei to build a new energy car in 3 days? Just want to use Xunfei's recent traffic and popularity to promote their own Demi car?" Ren Jichuan heard this, smiled and nodded. "Qianqian, you hit the nail on the head. Actually, after this news broke, many fellow entrepreneurs contacted me, asking what Lei Busi was thinking, including the bosses from Future and BYD. In the end, I just asked them one question, and they understood. That is, how long did they spend developing a car? And how much money did they invest? How much more capital was invested? A car is different from a computer or a motorcycle. It is much more complex, especially new energy vehicles. That young man Xunfei is very talented, but building a new energy car in 3 days, how is that possible? Still, I really like that kid Xunfei. It's rare these days to see such a skilled and technically gifted young man. I've already had Huawei's HR department send Xunfei an offer contract. I believe he will be tempted. Mentioning Shun Fei's name, even Ren Jichuan's eyes couldn't help but flash with deep admiration. Jiang Qianqian heard this, and her curiosity immediately became uncontrollable. After all, she knew her uncle was known for being generous. Uncle, what price did you offer Shun Fei? Ren Jichuan heard this, turned to look at Jiang Qianqian, and said, You want to know? Of course I want to know, uncle. Seeing Jiang Qianqian nodding her head like a chicken pecking rice, Ren Jichuan didn't keep her in suspense. The conditions I offered Shun Fei, besides giving him some Huawei shares, also include an annual salary of at least 300 million per year, and the salary increase over 4 years won't be less than 10%. Ren Jichuan's voice rang slowly through the room. Jiang Qianqian's little face froze in shock. She had thought that Ren Jichuan would offer Shun Fei a high price, but she never imagined it would be such a sky-high figure, let alone the rest. Just that 300 million annual salary would be enough for Huawei to hire an entire mid-sized team of 30 high-tech talents. After being stunned for a few seconds, until from not far away, the screen announced the official start of Demi's press conference. Only then did Jiang Qianqian snap out of her shock, together with Ren Jichuan. She looked up at the live broadcast and couldn't help muttering, unless that Shun Fei is blind, there's no way he can refuse such a sky-high offer. Demi Group's car launch officially begins. Over 5 million netizens poured into the live stream all at once. Barrages instantly filled the screen, but the staff managing the Demi live stream, looking at the back-end data, couldn't help being a little stunned. At the same time, there were several thousand barrages containing the word Demi, which seemed like a lot already, but barrages containing Shun Fei numbered a staggering 70 to 80,000. Although these Demi staff members had mentally prepared themselves, they never imagined that among the viewers of Demi Group's new energy vehicle launch, more than half had come for Shun Fei. In the live stream, the netizens' enthusiasm was sky-high. Meanwhile, Lei Busi had already walked onto the stage. After greeting the audience and briefly announcing the official start of the press conference, Lei Busi handed the stage over to Lin Jiansheng. Lin Jiansheng took the microphone, walked to the center of the stage, and said directly, I know why everyone is here today, so I won't beat around the bush. Next, please welcome the star of today's event. As Lin Jiansheng's voice faded, all 5 live cameras on site swung their lenses to the side. A car with a sleek, elegant exterior and smooth lines was being driven by Demi staff. Toward the stage, Lin Jiansheng looked at the car, his eyes full of confidence and pride. Once the car was parked at the center of the stage, Lin Jiansheng, microphone in hand, began introducing the car's features, from the interior to the exterior, then from battery range to hardware. Every time Lin Jiansheng paused, the audience will erupt in loud applause. After listening to Lin Jiansheng's introduction, many industry insiders couldn't help nodding frequently. They felt the car's features were commendable, enough to rank among the top current new energy vehicles. Meanwhile, the millions of viewers in the live stream had already exploded with chatter. Brother Fei didn't rip off Lei Busi's money this time. Looks like he invested a ton in the exterior and interior. Yin Qingjia, Brother Fei. He's not the same Brother Fei anymore. How to put it? Although this car has its merits, it didn't give me any sense of amazement. It's pretty much the same as most new energy vehicles. Brother Fei is really only good with computers and mechanical stuff. Alright, within 3 days, Brother Fei could give Lei Busi a car like this. That's already good enough. Wait, something's off. Look quickly at the big screen. This car doesn't seem to be built by Brother Fei. Right in the live stream, as millions of viewers were discussing heatedly, after the huge LED screen on stage flickered, lines of text and images suddenly flashed up. Lin Jiansheng turned to look at the countless audience below and said with a smile, Ladies and gentlemen, the car we, Dami Group, are releasing is called the S7. It is the first-generation new energy vehicle of Dami Group. After more than 300 days and nights, painstakingly crafted, I led the automotive division of Dami Group to build it. I know it may still have many imperfections, not enough to stand at the very peak of today's new energy vehicles, but I hope you will give us some time. Given time, Dami Auto will bring you even greater surprises. As Lin Jiansheng finished his speech, at the venue, some loyal fans of Dami immediately burst into applause. Inside the Shenzhen villa, Ren Jichuan looked at the live broadcast in front of him. With a knowing expression, he said, Qianqian, do you understand now? Dami's S7 is only average. It's already not easy to have generated such attention. If this situation continues, although Dami Auto won't have blockbuster sales, but it's equivalent to having knocked on the door of new energy vehicles. Isn't your Uncle Lei's marketing ability impressive? If he hadn't thought of using Shun Fei to gain such massive attention, Dami Auto probably wouldn't have even made a splash. Alright, just keep watching slowly. Your uncle still has things to do. Won't keep you company. As Ren Jichuan said this, he was about to stand up and leave. But just then, on the screen, a questioning voice suddenly came through. The matter of President Lin and President Lei placing an order with Mr. Shun Fei has spread across the entire internet these past 3 days. Everyone thought that this Dami press conference would be showing everyone the car built by Mr. Shun Fei. But from start to finish, this press conference has had nothing to do with Mr. Shun Fei. I would like to ask, has Mr. Shun Fei failed? He was not able to, within 3 days, build a car that meets your requirements. A journalist at the scene held up a microphone and asked seriously. Ren Jichuan, who had already lifted his foot, saw this, hesitated for a moment, and sat back down in his seat, both at the venue and in the live stream. Countless viewers extremely interested in this question pricked up their ears at once. On stage, Lin Jinxing smiled quietly upon hearing this. Then, he turned his head toward Lei Busi in the audience. I think this question should be answered by President Lei himself. Personally, for everyone. Lin Jinxing looked at Lei Busi below the stage, unable to hide a triumphant expression, and after his voice faded, everyone in unison turned to look in the direction of Lei Busi. At that moment, Lei Busi let out a quiet sigh, then relaxed his expression. It seemed he had already prepared himself to deal with this situation. But just then, a chugging sound like a tractor driving suddenly broke the silence at the venue. The abrupt tractor noise left everyone at the venue dumbfounded. You know, this is a press conference for high-tech new energy vehicles. This tractor sound at the scene was way too dissonant. After a moment of stunned silence, everyone collectively turned their heads toward the direction of the sound. There, a tractor spewing black smoke had just parked at the easternmost part of the square. Then, the tractor's rickety door opened from inside, and a dark-skinned old man stepped out of it. Seeing so many people staring at him, the old man was also a bit nervous. But then he seemed to remember something, and shouted out loud, that there is Boss Lei, that there is Boss Lei's, wait. A boss surnamed Shun told me to haul this car for you. It's here. The old man's rough voice echoed through the venue. Everyone subconsciously looked at the truck bed behind the tractor. Through the gaps in the piles of firewood stacked on the truck bed, they could vaguely see the edge of a car. And by then, Lei Busi had snapped out of it, and quickly walked up to the old man. I'm the Boss Lei you mentioned, fellow. Is this the car Mr. Shun Fei asked you to deliver to me? The car is behind, right? At this moment, the excitement on Lei Busi's face was already hard to hide. Although it was a bit late, Shun Fei had at least, at the last moment, delivered the car to him. But just as Lei Busi was speaking, and about to lift his leg, to walk toward the back of the tractor's truck bed, that dark-skinned old man suddenly blocked Lei Busi. Boss Lei, you can't look, see. You can't look yet, see. You haven't paid the shipping fee yet, see. I drove for several hours, just to deliver this car to you here. That Mr. Shun said, I should collect the shipping fee from you. The old man said anxiously. Hearing this, even Lei Busi's expression froze for a moment. The millions of viewers in the live stream burst out laughing instantly. I'm not joking. I just took a drink and spit it all out. Ha ha ha, I can't take it. Let me laugh for 3 minutes first. It's one thing to deliver a car to Lei Busi by tractor, but with cash on delivery, that move is just too much. The familiar taste. The familiar recipe. Brother Fei is indeed still the same Brother Fei. Haha, look quickly. Lei Busi is starting to doubt his own existence. Brothers, feels good. Feels good. I'm done already. This is the feeling. Countless viewers in the live stream were having a blast. The venue was also filled with laughter. Only the old man looked at Lei Busi warily, with an attitude of no money, no car viewing. After Lei Busi came back to his senses, his eyelids twitched violently a couple of times. Then he waved toward someone behind him. A woman who looked like a secretary hurriedly walked over. He took out a few hundred yuan in cash from his wallet and handed it to the old man. Only then did the old man, satisfied, lead Lei Busi toward the back of the truck bed. After a moment, the old man lowered the tailgate of the truck bed. Only then could everyone get a clearer look at the new energy vehicle built by Shun Fei. However, after seeing its design, everyone at the venue was mildly stunned again, because it looks quite different from most new energy vehicles on the market. Its shape is rather different. Upon closer look, it resembles the old generation AE86 that was discontinued long ago. Could Brother Fei be a fan of Takomi Fujiwara? So they ended up with an AE86 style car. All I can say is, seeing this car, a wave of retro vibes just hits you in the face. I actually kinda like it. Alright, I think Brother Fei the profiteer. Either he's too lazy, or he's just trying to save money, and directly grabbed a beat-up old used car, now modified into a new energy vehicle. Haha, exactly like that guy upstairs. You really know Brother Fei, don't you? While the audience was buzzing with comments. On the other side, Lei Busi couldn't wait to climb onto the tractor. Truck bed scene. All 5 camera positions in the live stream were aimed at the car I had built, not far away. Lin Jiancheng, who had already stepped off the stage, watched this way, with a completely indifferent expression on his face. Next to him stood several board members of Dami Group. They were already congratulating Lin Jiancheng ahead of time. Congratulations, congratulations. The Dami S7 you led to create has achieved a complete success today. Indeed, from now on, our Dami has thoroughly knocked open the door to the new energy vehicle industry. Chairman Lin, your contribution is irreplaceable. Oh, I just checked. Dami Group's stock price, in just the last few minutes, has already risen by 0.05 percentage points. I can already see, under Chairman Lin's leadership, Dami climbing to even higher peaks. Several board members gathered around Lin Jiancheng, their faces full of smiles. And when Lin Jiancheng heard these flattering words, the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes couldn't help but crease from his smile. He lifted his chin slightly, pointed toward Lei Busi, and said, Gentlemen, it's still too early to say that. They haven't yet seen the car that Chairman Lei spent 10 million to have that Shun Fei build. No, Lin Jiancheng said with a chuckle. But if you looked closely, you could easily see the contempt in his eyes. And right then, over at Lei Busi's side, it seemed something else had happened. As the noise arose, Lin Jiancheng squinted and looked over. On the other side, Lei Busi had already used the car key Shun Fei left to open the car door. The interior didn't look much different from most new energy vehicles, but the problem arose the moment Lei Busi tried to start the car. Now the car was still on the tractor. The ramp on the truck bed was already set up. They just needed to start the car and drive it down. But after Lei Busi pressed the push to start button, the car had no response at all. Seeing this, the many viewers at the scene and in the live stream couldn't help but start discussing. Damn, did Brother Fei mess up? Why won't the car start? Looks like 3 days really was too short. Brother Fei probably didn't get something right. Oh no, Brother Fei's glorious reputation is going to be ruined. Can't even start the car. What's the point of this? Balance restored. I finally feel balanced. Because compared to Brother Fei, I always feel like a total waste. The noise at the scene continued. Over at Lei Busi's side, he was frowning and checking exactly where the problem was. As a tech background big shot, he still knew a thing or two about cars, though not as much as some high-end specialists. He was still way ahead of ordinary people, and not checking was fine. But once he checked, Lei Busi couldn't hold it together anymore. Dude, this car has no battery. Lei Busi slumped back in the seat. Even he couldn't help but drop an F-bomb. Several black lines appeared on his forehead, and his voice, after being transmitted through the on-site live stream equipment, the noise immediately died away. The entire Beishan Square fell into dead silence. The silence at the scene lasted for several seconds. Then a burst of laughter erupted at the scene. Many people doubled over laughing. Couldn't straighten up. Absolutely couldn't straighten up. Nearly cried from laughing. Many people had only heard of Shun Fei's reputation as a profiteer, without a concrete idea. Today they finally got to see it. And in the live stream room, those water friends who came specifically for Shun Fei were already having a blast. I can't take it anymore. Let me catch my breath. I'm gonna die laughing. The same old flavor. The same old recipe. Still that same profiteering boss. Yeah, I thought. Brother Fei not even giving a tank of gas to little sister's place was already the limit. Never thought Lei Busi would be worse off. Brother Fei didn't even charge the battery for a single charge. A 10 million order. And he won't spend 30 bucks on electricity across the entire business world. That's an absolutely insane move. Other people treat customers like gods, but at Brother Fei's place, he considers himself the god. I bet Chairman Lei never expected. His reputation meant nothing to Brother Fei. He still gets ripped off just the same. Haha, for sure. Didn't you see Chairman Lei was totally stunned? Making a billionaire lose his composure. Only Brother Fei can do that. Lei Busi, leaning back in the car seat, was indeed feeling incredibly complicated at that moment. Thinking it over again, the order requirements he gave Shun Fei, Lei Busi no longer held any hope for them. But just then, Lei Busi's phone suddenly beeped. He instinctively pulled out his phone to look, and his expression froze for a moment. Lei Busi originally thought it was a message from some business partner, but never expected that it was Shun Fei through the Tiger Shark platform, sending him an order receipt. And after Lei Busi finished reading the information Shun Fei sent, his brows immediately furrowed tightly. Shun Fei, what exactly are you trying to do? Is there even a comparison between these two? Lei Busi murmured in a voice only he could hear. Then he fell into silence. After a full 10 seconds or so, when the Dami Group staff had brought over the mobile charging unit, Lei Busi finally snapped out of his contemplation. Forget it, since it's come to this. I have no choice but to trust Shun Fei. Lei Busi took a deep breath, then climbed out of the car. Next, he whispered a few words in his secretary's ear, then started walking straight off the field. The audience at the scene saw this, and thought Lei Busi had been angered by me, and stormed off in a huff. Instantly, they couldn't help but start discussing. The female secretary saw the situation getting a bit out of control, so quickly stepped forward to explain, our Dami Group's press conference is not over yet. Chairman Lei just told me, once the battery is fully charged, he will officially begin the demonstration of the car that Mr. Shun Fei has built for our Dami Group. Please be patient. After saying that, the secretary stepped back to the side and took charge of monitoring the charging process, and the tens of thousands of people at the scene, plus the millions of water friends in the live stream, after hearing the secretary's words, chose to wait quietly. If it were any other company, making everyone wait over half an hour at a launch event, who knows how many people would have left early. But because of me, everyone was surprisingly patient. After about 20 minutes passed like this, suddenly, the roar of a car engine rang out. People had been getting a bit bored waiting, and hearing such an explosive roar, all eyes immediately turned in that direction. Immediately, many people turned their heads to look. They saw Beishan Square. At the open area of the mountain entrance, one after another, supercars suddenly filed out, all parked steadily there. At a glance, there were at least a dozen. Among them, there were plenty of Ferraris and Lamborghinis and other top-tier supercars. Extremely eye-catching. They say sports cars are a man's ultimate romance. Seeing such a spectacle, everyone's gaze was drawn to it. Many people hurriedly took out their phones to take photos, and just as everyone's attention was focused on these top-tier supercars, Lei Busi's voice suddenly rang out through the loudspeaker. In the coming time, I want to invite everyone to enjoy a racing feast. These were all specially brought by our Dami Group, the world's top-tier supercar series, and their drivers are all professional racers. Lei Busi's voice echoed across the entire square. The scene immediately erupted with waves of cheers. No one expected that there would be such an explosive show today. The millions of viewers in the live stream also couldn't help but go wild. Damn, Chairman Lei really is Chairman Lei. Every time he holds a press conference, the show is maxed out. Hearing the roar of those supercars, it really feels like blood is boiling. But this is Dami's new energy vehicle launch, bringing a bunch of fuel-guzzling top sports cars to race. Is this really okay? I mean, what was Chairman Lei thinking with this move? Is he afraid his own Dami car will sell too well? Hey, why do we care about that? As long as there's a show, that's fine. Wait, damn. No, look quickly. Am I seeing things? The viewers in the live stream, towards the end, suddenly started getting jumpy. And the expressions on everyone's faces at the scene were even more frozen. They saw on the starting line of the Beishan winding road, a dozen supercars were roaring loudly, like beasts ready to pounce. And at that moment, Lei Busi, driving the car built by Xin Fei, also parked in the middle of the dozen sports cars. The impact of that scene on everyone was like among a group of steel beasts. A little lamb had mixed in, and one that doesn't even bleat. After a second of silence at the scene, noise burst out like a tidal wave. Damn, honey, slap me quick. In broad daylight. How am I hallucinating? Ouch, not a hallucination. But has Chairman Lei gone crazy? Let me sort this out. A dozen supercars racing. Chairman Lei is going to race in a new energy vehicle. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Koenigsegg, Chairman Lei. If he can even see the exhaust of these cars, I'll count it as a loss. I can only say. Chairman Lei show effect this time. I give full marks. This is definitely the most explosive car launch I've seen so far. It wasn't just ordinary viewers blown away. Even Lin Jiansheng in the stands, and the other directors of Demi Group, were completely shocked. A full several seconds passed before Lin Jiansheng was the first to snap out of it. Then he couldn't help wiping the corner of his eye and said, Chairman Lei, what are you going to personally prove how crappy that car is? To highlight how amazing our S7 is? Enough, Chairman Lei. What you've done for me and for Demi Group is more than enough. No matter in the future, whether you remain the executive director of Demi Group, in my heart, you will always be worthy of respect. Lin Jiansheng spoke with deep emotion, as if he was truly moved by Lei Busi, and the directors beside him, hearing Lin Jiansheng's words, also instantly understood. So that's what it's about. The bigger the fuss Chairman Lei makes, the better our SU7 will sell. I say Director Lin sees things clearly. He saw the reason at a glance. In the future, under Director Lin's leadership, Demi will surely become bigger and stronger, and create more brilliance. Under the watch of Lin Jiansheng and others, the car race on the other side had entered countdown. A dozen supercars were ready to go. The intense roars soared to the sky. In contrast, the new energy vehicle driven by Lei Busi, the Xin Fei brand, was like a little lamb waiting to be slaughtered, quietly waiting to be crushed by the dozen supercars. Finally, as the countdown ended, and the starting gun sounded, all the dozen supercars shot out in a flash. That kind of launch control start made the audience cheer in excitement. Then everyone turned their gaze to the car driven by Lei Busi, and laughter erupted one after another. The acceleration of new energy vehicles is faster than most fuel cars, but that's only compared to ordinary fuel cars. Compared to these real supercars, it's like a small wizard meeting a big one. Just from the start, Lei Busi was left behind by a full tens of meters. After a few more seconds, Lei Busi couldn't even see the exhaust of those supercars. But at this moment, Lei Busi's honorable status as chairman of Demi Group became apparent. The staff responsible for remote-controlled drones for tracking shots were very considerate. Among the 5 tracking drones, 2 were always following behind Lei Busi. And so, Lei Busi drove the car, finally arrived at the first curve of the Beishan Mountain Road. The audience at the scene and in the live stream had long since fixed their gaze intently on the huge LED screen in the square. The footage transmitted back by the tracking drones could be seen clearly on it. Of course, everyone was focused on the shots of those supercars. As for what Lei Busi was doing, they were hardly interested. They casually glanced and were about to continue watching the footage of the supercars speeding. But just that one glance, no one could look away. At the scene, some even couldn't help letting out incredulous screams. In the footage, the car driven by Lei Busi had already reached 120 kilometers per hour. Although not as fast as those supercars, it was definitely not slow. You know, on a typical highway, the maximum allowed speed is just this. And while driving at such high speed, Lei Busi actually took the curve without slowing down. In less than 1 second, he passed that curved bend. B brothers, am I seeing this right? Chairman Lei, holy sh*t. He didn't slow down for the curve. I'm F**king. Dumbfounded. How does it feel that Chairman Lei's curve, taken, is faster than those professional drivers in supercars? No need to feel. It is faster than those supercars. I've been timing it. The fastest among those supercars is the Koenigsegg. It took 1.2 seconds on this first curve, and Chairman Lei only took 0.6 seconds, d*m in it. A full double faster. Wow, I thought Chairman Lei was going to show off the car. Turns out he's going to show off his driving skills. I can only say, love it. From now on I'm Chairman Lei's #1 fan of his driving skills. The viewers in the live stream were all discussing. They all began to focus their attention in unison on the car driven by Lei Busi. On the screen, as time passed, everyone's shock grew. Originally everyone thought Lei Busi not slowing down in curves and skillfully taking the curve was the limit, but didn't expect that was just the beginning. Holy cow, downshifting and anti-trail braking, slight pressure on the center plate to initiate drift. May I ask, is Chairman Lei really not a retired F1 professional racer? These are already insane, but it feels like crazier is yet to come. Shift 2 for weight transfer. Ensure the front of the car can be lifted off the ground, creating an overtaking line, shifting the car for a tight countersteer to control tire wear. The scariest part is, Chairman Lei can drift using inertia. Feels like Chairman Lei's driving skills are on par with Takumi Fujiwara from Initial D. They're pretty evenly matched. I'd call him Fujiwara Lei. At this moment, the live chat is completely exploding. No one expected this car race would turn out like this. Among a bunch of supercars and pro drivers, Lei Busi somehow became the undisputed star, and Beishan's winding road is mostly sharp turns. Lei Busi drives his car with all kinds of insane techniques. He went from dead last straight to first place, and he's nearly a kilometer ahead of second place. All the pro drivers he overtook stare at that electric car with no exhaust fumes. Their faces all look like they're questioning life. Boss Lei, am I the pro driver? Or are you the pro driver? Am I the one driving a supercar? Or are you the one driving a supercar? At Beishan Square, there's not a single sound to be heard anymore. Everyone is looking up in awe, staring intently at the LED screen, at the car Lei Busi is driving, and in the crowd, Lin Jiansheng and the other Dami Group directors exchange glances, seeing the confusion in each other's eyes. When did Chairman Lei learn to drive like that? Who knows? Chairman Lei has always had a lot of hobbies. Maybe he learned it when he was young. Feels like after Chairman Lei retires, he could directly join professional racing. When that happens, I'll definitely rent out the whole place for us to watch. Ha ha ha, old son. You said it. Then we'll all go together to watch Chairman Lei race. Alright, cut it out. Chairman Lei's driving is impressive, but you don't actually think he's better than professional racers, do you? These drivers were all invited by Chairman Lei. Who knows how much they held back? Hearing Lin Jiansheng's last remark, everyone nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, at the foot of Beishan, Lei Busi's car slowly appears in everyone's sight. They're calm over there, but the tens of thousands of spectators absolutely cannot stay calm. Before Lei Busi even stops the car, waves of cheers echo across the entire square. But what nobody knows is, Lei Busi, still sitting in the driver's seat. His eyes are already filled with shock. He stares at the steering wheel in front of him, can't help but swallow, gulping down saliva, his face full of disbelief. This state lasts for over 2 minutes, until the other pro drivers also finish their lap around Beishan and reach the finish line. Only then does Lei Busi take 2 deep breaths, slowly push the door open and step out. The moment Lei Busi gets out of the car, all the pro drivers crowd around him. Chairman Lei, are you kidding us? Organizing the Beishan race, calling all of us over, with a first prize of 5 million. We were all going all out. But who would have thought? You're the real master hiding your skills. Your driving is almost as good as an F1 pro. No way we can beat you. No way at all. The drivers say with wry smiles. In their eyes is full of admiration for Lei Busi's skill. As the saying goes, amateurs watch the excitement, professionals watch the technique. Lei Busi's driving, even from a professional's perspective, is absolutely explosive, especially when he overtook them earlier. That smooth, fluid operation left them all stunned. And the pro drivers, praising Lei Busi's skills to this extent. Needless to say, the ordinary crowd, the tens of thousands of people on site, now crowd around, shouting, Chairman Lei, you're way too awesome. That race just now was better than a Hollywood blockbuster. Chairman Lei, are you taking apprentices? I want to learn driving from you. Chairman Lei, release a driving tutorial. I'll learn on my knees. Chairman Lei, I want to have your baby. The crowd is hyped up, the shouts getting more and more ridiculous. Lei Busi takes the mic from his secretary, clears his throat a little, and instantly the noise drops by half. Then, under the excited gaze of countless people, Lei Busi slowly speaks. What do you all think of him? As he speaks, Lei Busi slowly points to the side. Everyone follows his finger, turn their heads in unison. When they see what Lei Busi is referring to is the car built by Xinfei. They're about to comment, but suddenly a popping sound rings out. 3 of the car's 4 tires suddenly crack open, and the last one starts to wobble, and it's not over yet. After a series of faint cracking sounds, a much louder noise suddenly erupts from inside the car body. Seems like the motor's burned out. After a second of silence, the square erupts in laughter. How much money did Xinfei rip off from Chairman Lei? Not even charging the battery is one thing, but this quality is way too crappy. First time seeing a new car fall apart after one run. Feels like Chairman Lei is pretty lucky to be alive. No kidding. I bet even Chairman Lei's legs are shaking now. If the car had broken down during the race, we'd only be able to see Chairman Lei by burning paper at his grave. Feels like the car Xinfei built was holding Chairman Lei's skills back. If he'd been driving a supercar, I can't even imagine what kind of visual feast that would be. Chairman Lei, do another lap. This time use that Koenigsegg. Yeah, Chairman Lei, please. The crowd shouts one after another. Not far away, Lin Jiansheng and the other directors look at the nearly wrecked car and can't help shaking their heads with a laugh. Only Lei Busi keeps his eyes on the car, his face showing no surprise at all. Well then, seems like everyone's opinion of this car isn't great. In that case, let me show you all something. Xiaozhong, play the video from my phone on the big screen. As he says this, Lei Busi takes out his phone and hands it to his secretary. Even now, deep in Lei Busi's eyes, there's still a lingering thrill, and the pretty secretary nods quickly, then takes Lei Busi's phone and walks off into the distance. As for the crowd on site and in the live stream, they're all momentarily stunned, clearly confused about what Lei Busi is up to. They patiently turn their eyes to that massive LED screen. After the secretary sets it up, an image appears on the screen. Wow, it's the footage from inside Chairman Lei's car. Now this is interesting. I really want to see how exactly Chairman Lei drove like that. Chairman Lei is generous. I'm going to study this footage frame by frame, for real. Dude, you're going to study it? See those pro drivers? They're all seriously pulling out their phones and starting to record. Everyone stares at the big screen, not daring to blink even once, afraid of missing any amazing scene. And on the big screen right now, the roar of a dozen sports cars had already sounded one after another. Clearly the scene right before the race starts. In the shot, Lei Busi at this moment wasn't holding the steering wheel, just sticking out one finger, and tapped on the main control screen. The next second, a pleasant female voice suddenly came through the big screen and spread across the venue, into the ears of every viewer in the live stream. Ding-ling. You have selected the full intelligent autonomous driving function. Please fasten your seatbelt. The beautiful prompt tone was very pleasing, but at this moment those two words hit like thunder, exploding in everyone's ears. The expressions on everyone's faces froze completely. Not far away, Lin Jiansheng and the other directors of Dami Group were even more full of disbelief, wondering if they had misheard. Full intelligent autonomous driving. Could it be that what affected those professional drivers in supercars wasn't Chairman Lei at all, but this car? One middle-aged director couldn't help his throat moving, swallowing a mouthful of saliva, his voice trembling, shocked that many new energy cars today are claimed to already have autonomous driving features. But in truth, these top executives all know that the so-called autonomous driving right now is still in the testing phase. At most, it can only be called assisted autonomous driving, meaning it can automatically avoid obstacles, perform emergency braking, and so on. Like the Dami S7 that Lin Jiansheng personally launched just now, able to drive itself to the center of the stage. That was already a pretty impressive feature. When Lin Jiansheng showed it to everyone earlier, the audience cheered with thunderous applause. From that you could tell. But now what are they hearing? Words of ghosts and gods. Full autonomous intelligent driving function. Just making Lei Busi fasten his seatbelt. If the car race, just now, was really entirely done by Shinfei's car, with Lei Busi from start to finish, never touching the steering wheel, then they really had no idea how much of a sensation Shinfei's car would cause in the entire new energy vehicle industry. Compared to this car, all the new energy cars that claim to have autonomous driving features would be ground into the dirt. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. At most, it should be a kind of assisted driving feature. All those operations couldn't possibly be done by just one car. How could this kind of technology appear now? Even in another 10 years, it's impossible. After Lin Jiansheng came to his senses, he exclaimed in a somewhat flustered voice. Compared to the other directors, he understood even more clearly how outrageous this was. Chairman Lin, don't get too anxious first. As for what's really going on, we'll know if we keep watching. Just then, another director squinted and spoke up. Hearing that, Lin Jiansheng pressed his lips together, then furrowed his brow and looked at the big screen. The other ordinary viewers, after the initial shock, were already staring straight at it. And there on the huge LED screen, the race footage had already begun. After Lei Busi fastened his seatbelt, he leaned comfortably back in the car seat, without making any other move. Soon the straight track ended. The camera came to the first corner. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but hold their breath. 0.6 seconds flashed by in an instant. And when that 0.6 second clip replayed in their minds, everyone felt their scalp go numb. A chill directly rose from the soles of their feet and shot straight up to the crown of their heads. Numb. I'm completely numb. If I'm not mistaken, from start to finish, Chairman Lei didn't even move a finger to touch the steering wheel, did he? Burning my eyes, not slowing down in the corner, was actually done by the car itself. Did you guys catch Chairman Lei's expression just now? Looks like Chairman Lei was startled too. Damn, who wouldn't be startled by that? I've never heard of a car street racing by itself. The live chat exploded like a tidal wave. Everyone's jaws dropped at the scene, and it wasn't over yet. Corner after corner, overtake after overtake, downshifting and trail braking, micro-steering pendulum, initiating drift FR for weight transfer, ensuring the nose stays lifted to carve an overtaking line, side-shifting the car for minimal countersteering, thereby controlling tire wear, using inertia drift. These advanced technical moves, which even professional drivers struggle to execute, countless viewers watched as a car performed them all by itself. The further they watched, the more shocked everyone became, especially at the 10-minute, 8-second mark. That pleasant prompt sounded again. Detected that tires and motor are overloaded. Expected failure in 8 minutes and 7 seconds. Other components are currently intact. You may drive with peace of mind. Hearing those two prompts coming from the big screen, everyone couldn't help swallowing 2 gulps of saliva. So the problem with the tires and motor was already within this car's detection range. Even the time was precise down to the second. During the race, there was absolutely no risk of any danger. Damn, I'm convinced. I thought the motorcycle doing over 800 kilometers per hour was already Brother Fei's limit. Who would have thought in just 3 days? Brother Fei once again blew my mind. The nth time Brother Fei has become a legend in my book. From computers to motorcycles to new energy cars. Where exactly is Brother Fei's limit? Never thought a person could be this awesome. Is it too late for me to go back to school now? First time seeing the charm of knowledge and technology. Earlier some guys guessed Brother Fei is already 60. I say Brother Fei is an 100 years old. No way. He must have spent a lifetime studying all kinds of tech to get results like this, right? The live stream was approaching 10 million viewers, discussing nonstop, completely unable to stop. They watched on the big screen, that car, still in full autonomous driving mode. No less shocking than seeing Ultraman in real life. Seeing the light. And it wasn't just ordinary viewers who were utterly stunned. Even the business tycoons watching the live stream were frozen in expression. Inside a standalone villa in Shenzhen, Ren Jichuan looked at everything before him, his breathing becoming slightly rapid. Not long ago, they at Huawei had also just released a new energy car of their own. The GGS-9. As soon as this car came out, it crushed a bunch of other new energy vehicles, relying on its autonomous driving feature to successfully reach the top of the new energy car ranks. But right now, comparing the GGS-9's autonomous driving with the car Shunfei had built, Ren Jichuan didn't even know what to say. Their GGS-9 was what kind of autonomous driving? It was like a child's toy in comparison. And then thinking about how he had instructed HR to offer Shunfei an annual salary of 300 million, Ren Jichuan's face felt even hotter. Huawei spent over 20 billion in R&D, just barely to build the GGS-9, while the car built by Shunfei alone could grind their GGS-9 into the dirt. Shunfei's worth as one person is more terrifying than all the masters and PhDs he hired at high salaries. No, countless times more. 300 million? Ren Jichuan felt. It wasn't just a slap in Shunfei's face, but a slap in his own face too. Qianqian's uncle was wrong this time. Wrong from the very start. So this wasn't just a marketing stunt by Lei Busi. It was Shunfei's personal show. I really underestimated Shunfei. He alone is worth who knows how many top-tier research teams. For Dragon Country to have someone like him is the true fortune of the entire nation and its people. After a bitter smile, Ren Jichuan's face lit up with excitement. At this moment, whether Shunfei could be used by Huawei no longer mattered to him. He was just relieved that Shunfei was a citizen of Dragon Country. As for Jiang Qianqian beside him, she had long stopped listening to anything Ren Jichuan said. At that moment, her eyes were fixed on the screen, full of little stars. She had clearly become my fangirl for good. On the big screen, after the 10-minute video finished playing, everyone turned their attention back to the car I had built. The first sound of clapping broke the silence. Then, like a chain reaction, the venue erupted in thunderous applause in an instant. Everyone looked at that car and felt that a glorious era of new energy vehicles was about to arrive. And just then, from inside the car with the blown tires and burnout motor, that wonderful prompt sound suddenly rang out again. Ding ding. There's also a voicemail here. Please have the owner check it. Detection, mail permission level too high. Now automatically playing the mail for the owner. The sudden sound caught everyone off guard. Then, before anyone could react, a magnetic voice came from inside the car. Hello, Chairman Lei. This is Shunfei. You've probably heard that I only sell products, not patents. Whoever can figure it out, just give me a cut of the licensing fee. But this car, which I call the Dami Suguang, first generation new energy vehicle, I'm willing to sell you some of its patents. No choice. I've been a bit short on cash lately. If Chairman Lei has made up his mind, you can contact me through the order receipt. After those words echoed across the square, the scene fell silent, and the millions of viewers in the stream room snapped out of it, then completely exploded. Holy crap, where's his face? Profiteer Fei. How can he say something so outrageous? LOL, I'm laughing too. Anyone in the world could be short on cash. But you, a profiteering boss, saying you're broke? Are you kidding me? Wait, is that actually Brother Fei's voice? Why does he sound so young? Dude, you just woke me up with that. That voice sounds like he's only about 20. You guys better not be joking. Around 20 years old? Did Brother Fei start doing research while still in the womb? I could accept Brother Fei being 80. But if he's 20, how am I supposed to live? Compared to him, I'm just a total waste, aren't I? I can already see today's top trending topic. Deranged research prodigy is actually only 20. Brother Fei, at 20, became a partner with Lei Busi. And me? At 20, all I know is Maka Paka. Wah, can you guys stop? My mom is watching the stream too. She glances at the stream, then glances at me, and I swear I see murder in her eyes. After that voicemail accidentally revealed my age, everyone lost it. As for Lei Busi, he was grinning from ear to ear. He already knew about the I only sell products, not patents thing. Originally, Lei Busi thought he'd first use me to get absolute control of the group, then personally lead the research team to study the car I built for him day and night. Who would have thought I'd just hand him such a huge gift? With my help, Lei Busi believed the first generation Dami Suguang would soon go into mass production. At that moment, he felt the name I gave it couldn't be more fitting. This car was a ray of light bursting into the new energy vehicle world, and I was even more of a ray of light in Lei Busi's life, lighting up both him and the Dami group completely. With that, Lei Busi hurried to contact me. But just then, the sound of heavy footsteps suddenly came. Lei Busi turned around and saw Lin Jianxing standing behind him. Congratulations, Chairman Lei. Lin Jianxing's face bore a trace of bitterness and a lingering disbelief. He truly had never imagined that Lei Busi, relying only on me, could defeat the entire R&D department of Dami Group. And it wasn't even close. A total crushing. Don't be so down. The one who beat you isn't me. It's that prodigy kid. Others say my life has been too legendary. But compared to that prodigy, I feel he's the real legend. Lei Busi looked at Lin Jianxing and said from the bottom of his heart. Hearing this, Lin Jianxing was stunned for a moment. Then he smiled bitterly and shook his head. Chairman Lei, you misunderstand. I'm not down. I lost fair and square. Shunfei is amazing. So amazing it makes my heart tremble. But your choice was also amazing. Now I understand. You're not just the founder of Dami. You're also the most suitable leader for Dami. Chairman Lei, farewell. With those final words, Lin Jianxing gave a slight bow to Lei Busi, then turned to leave. Lei Busi watched him, hesitated for a moment, then couldn't help asking, what are your plans next? Lei Busi didn't grandly try to keep Lin Jianxing. Just as if he had failed, Lin Jianxing wouldn't have kept him either. In business, they were enemies, competitors, but in some respects, Lei Busi did admire Lin Jianxing, at least in new energy vehicle technology. Lin Jinxing was far better than him. The S7 only lost to Xinfei, not to any other new energy vehicle. Next, I want to go back to the research institute. You know, Chairman Lei, the Lin family has some influence in Yinjing. Before, I was really dedicated to research at the institute. Then I found research too boring, so I lost interest. But today, Xinfei showed me what true scientific research means. I think I'll devote the rest of my life to this work. Even if I can only achieve a little, it will be a life well spent. Lin Jinxing spoke seriously, as if he had already made up his mind. Lei Busi, hearing this, stared at Lin Jinxing, and for the first time, a look of respect crossed his eyes. Good luck. Thank you, Chairman Lei, if time allows. I hope we can still sit down for tea sometime. After saying that, Lin Jinxing no longer had any attachment to everything before him. He turned, waved at Lei Busi, and walked away coolly. Watching Lin Jinxing's receding figure, Lei Busi pressed his lips together, and finally couldn't help murmuring. Every researcher deserves respect and admiration, but most spend their entire lives in obscurity. Few can produce such constant results like Xinfei. Jinxing, I hope in the long research career ahead, you can keep a level head. After all, a freak genius like Xinfei only exists one in this world. With Lin Jinxing's departure, Lei Busi's sigh, this Dami Group press conference has come to a perfect close, and the name Xinfei once again dominated the trending lists on all major platforms. Every news section and front-page headline was completely dominated by this new energy vehicle. Everyone has seen new energy cars, and new energy cars with automated driving assistance. Everyone has seen those too. But a fully automated intelligent racing new energy car. Even in your dreams you'd never have imagined that. So, many people who didn't watch the live press conference, after seeing the video of the race at Beishan Square, were instantly blown away. No one ever expected that with modern technology developing so fast, the first to lose their jobs wouldn't be farmers, but race car drivers. An industry that seemed like it would never go obsolete. And as the online buzz grew bigger and bigger, I finally came into some people's sights. Modu City First Military District. As one of the top 10 important military bases in the country, the most impressive thing here isn't its combat power, but its military R&D capability, which ranks among the top nationally. Here, it houses the nation's largest military R&D base, countless top domestic R&D talents, all gathered in this place. At this moment, somewhere in this enormous military district, an elderly man with graying hair, who inspired awe without even trying, watched a video on his phone, couldn't help adjusting the reading glasses on his nose. A young talent to be reckoned with. Truly a young talent to be reckoned with. I never imagined that our Dragon Kingdom had such an outstanding young genius. But his research direction seems to focus on civilian products. That's a bit of a waste of his talent. The old man named Chun Jiming couldn't help but regret. Then, he reached out and pressed a button on the desk. A few minutes later, a straight-backed young man knocked and entered. Teacher, you wanted to see me? Xiaoma, you go find a way to contact this young man named Xinfei. I want to invite him to work at our R&D base. Chun Jiming said to his prized student Ma Hongyi. As the top person in the R&D base, Chun Jiming had many students, and Ma Hongyi among all his students, ranked in the top 5 in both talent and understanding. So Chun Jiming was very kind to him. But upon hearing Chun Jiming's words, Ma Hongyi couldn't help hesitating. Teacher, I've heard of this Xinfei. Recently his deeds have been all over the internet, quite a stir. But having him come directly to our R&D base, isn't that a bit of an exception? The people we recruit here are all from major military academies and top research talent from institutes. More than half of them have at least 5 years of experience in military research. And this Xinfei's research is all civilian products. If he comes to our R&D base, he probably won't understand a thing. Ma Hongyi spoke boldly. Normally, anyone receiving an order from Chun Jiming would just obey, daring not to question at all. Otherwise, they'd be met with a furious scolding from Chun Jiming. After all, though this old man looks kind right now, inside the R&D base, Chun Jiming is famous for his hot temper. Many new researchers have been scolded to tears by him. But Ma Hongyi dared to say this, naturally because he relied on Chun Jiming's special treatment of him, which was different from others. See, Chun Jiming upon hearing this, only smiled and said, I just want Xinfei to come and try. I didn't say. I directly recruit him as a formal member of the research base. Civilian and military are worlds apart. Whether he can also excel in military affairs remains to be seen. Time will tell. All right, go contact him first. Chun Jiming waved his hand. Ma Hongyi upon hearing this, finally nodded obediently, then turned and walked out of the office door. But just as his hand touched the doorknob, Chun Jiming's voice suddenly rang out again. Oh right, has Qining finished her experiments? Hearing the name Qining, a gleam of admiration immediately flashed deep in Ma Hongyi's eyes. Then he quickly nodded and said, yes. Teacher, Tutor Qin, has finished the research on the TZ-type ultra-hard alloy material. Although this experiment, Tutor Qin spent a total of 2 years on and off. But this breakthrough in his experiment will bring our land battle tanks a historic innovation. With this ultra-hard alloy, our land battle tanks will have their combat power raised by 2 levels. Not just Tutor Qin, he is a true genius. Ma Hongyi didn't hold back his admiration at all. The way he looked, as if compared to Qining, Xinfei was nothing at all. And Chun Jiming nodded upon hearing this. A smile also appeared on his dignified face. That girl Qining is indeed very talented. Back then, she studied under me for only 2.5 years, and was promoted to tutor of our research base. Xiaoma, you all need to work hard too. Yes, teacher. We will definitely live up to your expectations. Good. Go contact Shen Fei first. After you've contacted him, notify everyone to meet in Hall 1. Have Qining come too. Yes, teacher. I'll arrange it right away. As soon as he heard he'd see Qining soon, Ma Hongyi got really excited. Then, he quickened his pace and left Chen Zhiming's office. And after Ma Hongyi left, Chen Zhiming turned his gaze back to the phone in front of him, watching the screen, the fully automated intelligent driving, racing new energy car that I had built. He couldn't help muttering. I wonder if it's a specific program fixed, or an intelligent road recognition system. If it's the latter, then it might be applicable to military operations. That would greatly improve the efficiency of special operations. But with current technology, mass-producing such a system is probably very difficult. Shen Fei must have researched for a long time to come up with this one system. Meanwhile, I had no idea that I had already entered the site of Chen Zhiming, a true big shot in military industry. After passing some core technical data of this new energy vehicle to Lei Busi, I walked out of the manufacturing shop, planning to take a good rest for a few days. In the predecessor of Honghua memories, besides this manufacturing shop, I seem to have a house in the city center. So I decided to stay at the city house for a couple of days. Although the manufacturing shop also has a room to rest. In my opinion, work and life should be kept separate. And here I hardly see a soul usually. If I keep this up, I'm afraid my social skills will atrophy. Walking out of the manufacturing shop door, under the warm afternoon sun, I stretched comfortably. At the manufacturing shop, my plan for now is to wait a couple of days before taking new orders, or take orders when a suitable one comes along. After unlocking the third stage of the system, top-tier military manufacturing, I naturally want a bigger challenge for myself. Let's settle on that for now. Time to head to the city. I let out a light sigh, then got into my beat-up second-hand Jetta, and slowly started driving toward the city. At the same time, on the other side, Modu City 1st Military District, within the territory of the research base, Chen Zhiming was pacing toward the conference hall. Before he even got close, Chen Zhiming heard a series of wailing and howling sounds came from inside. Sistering, stop hitting. Can I just admit defeat? Tutor Qin, you're a tutor now. Don't be such a bully, okay? Hit me anymore, and I'll break. Hearing this voice, the expression on Chen Zhiming's face froze slightly. Then he couldn't help shaking his head with a bitter smile. After this girl finished speaking, Chen Zhiming quickened his pace. When he reached the meeting room, at the main entrance, he happened to see a beautiful figure lift a foot and kick someone flying out. Those long legs wrapped in loose trousers, sexy and full of explosive power. Chen Zhiming looked more closely. On the ground, besides the person Qin kicked away, there were 4 or 5 more lying on the floor, unable to even get up. Clearly, they had been severely battered by Qining. And Qining, at this moment, did not notice Chen Zhiming's arrival behind her. She glanced at the few people lying on the ground, couldn't help clapping her hands. Crossing her arms, she said, "Hey, you guys are way too weak, aren't you? I told you that besides doing research, you also need to exercise properly. How come after 2 years, you're still this weak?" Qin Ying's crisp voice echoed through the huge meeting room. Not only were the few lying on the ground on the verge of tears, even the group of onlookers around couldn't help twitching their eyes violently. "Sistering, how can you say we didn't exercise? We run 20 kilometers in the mountains every day. We haven't missed a single day in 2 years. But fighting you? Can we win? Even the special forces guys walk around you when they see you. What can we do? Forget it, sistering. Kill us or cut us up. Do whatever you want. We choose to die standing." The few of them spoke one after another, faces full of grievance. Qining looked at their expressions, was slightly stunned for a moment. Then, she cracked her knuckles and approached them. "Such backbone. With those words, you almost seem like men. Big sister will grant your wish." As she spoke, Qin Ying's meter-long legs were already raised. But just then, Chen Zhiming finally couldn't stand watching any longer. "Haha, enough. Qining, stop torturing your junior brothers." As Chen Zhiming said this, he walked into the room with his hands behind his back, and the people in the room, upon seeing Chen Zhiming, suddenly acted as if they saw their own father. They wiped away tears and crowded around him. "Elder Chen, you must stand up for us. Qining can't bully us like this. We are the nation's top military researchers, and she insists on making us exercise. Isn't that torture?" Yesterday, when I heard she was coming back, I even had nightmares. I had a breakthrough in the 3-phase hall research, and it was scared right out of my head. "Ha ha, Elder Chen, stand up for us, please." Those people rushed to Chen Zhiming's side, with tears and snot all over, completely lacking the demeanor of top military talents. "Enough, Qining, it's also for your own good. Without a good physique, you can't do scientific research for long. Everyone, go back to your seats. I have important matters to discuss with you today." At the end, Chen Zhiming's voice turned a bit more serious as he said. Upon hearing this, the dozens of people present immediately changed their faces. All wiped the smiles off their faces. They filed back to their seats. Only Qining still looked like nothing was wrong. She casually pulled a chair and sat down. Chen Zhiming glanced at Qining and didn't say anything more. He lifted his steps, walked to the display screen in the meeting room, and uploaded a video to the system. Then he faced the crowd, opened his mouth and said, "Let's watch this video first." Along with, after Chen Zhiming's voice fell, the dozens of people in the meeting room all cast their eyes over, seeing a car on the screen, without anyone operating it, driving fully autonomously, performing various high-difficulty racing techniques, and finally leaving a bunch of supercars in the dust. Even the top military talents present couldn't help but show a hint of surprise on their faces. And Qining, standing by, after watching, also couldn't help squinting her pretty eyes. After the video finished playing, she directly fell into deep thought. At this time, Chen Jiming slowly walked to the main seat. He raised his eyes and swept his gaze over the crowd below. Then, with an imposing aura, he opened his mouth and said, "The events shown in this video took place just a few hours ago. It's from a top-tier tech company in our country. A recorded broadcast from their press conference. I think among you, some of you may have already heard the name Xin Fei, but some of you may not have. Now, speak your minds. What are your thoughts on the video?" After Chen Jiming's voice fell, the dozens of top military talents in the room exchanged glances and then started discussing among themselves, and Qi Ning, sitting at the very front, at this moment narrowed her eyes, not knowing what she was thinking. After the crowd discussed for a while, someone stood up and said to Chen Jiming, "Elder Chun, I think in the video, this fully intelligent autonomous driving function does have something to it, but not that much. Specifically, the visual impact is strong, but the practical use is not great. From a civilian perspective, this technology indeed can maximize the driving experience, but street racing, the law won't allow it. If Dami Group wants to promote this car and release it to the market, then the racing function definitely won't pass review. However, from a technical standpoint, I personally admire this Xin Fei. He seems to have a unique talent for intelligent systems. Hong Yi mentioned to me earlier that you seem interested in recruiting Xin Fei to come study at our military base. I think, after he studies military skills and knowledge for a while, maybe he really could contribute to our military intelligence." A young man wearing silver-rimmed glasses spoke eloquently. Hearing his words, many in the meeting room nodded, expressing agreement. And Chen Jiming looked up at the young man and suddenly asked, "Su Ting, what if it were applied to military use?" Military? The young man named Su Ting was slightly stunned upon hearing this. Then, meeting Chen Jiming's gaze, he couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. "Elder Chun, please don't test me. I can still figure this out. As I see it, this technology, at present, cannot be applied to military industry. In military operations, if there is an autonomous driving function, it can indeed free up combat forces. But no matter how intelligent, it's still just a bunch of cold parts. It simply cannot adapt to the instant changes of the battlefield and make the most correct judgment in the face of ever-changing situations. For example, the intelligent driving system only analyzes the current road conditions, just like what we just saw in the video, taking the fastest line through curves, choosing the most correct and most shortcut-oriented path. This kind of judgment method is also the most basic and most important judgment method of an intelligent driving system. But on the battlefield, the shortest path isn't necessarily the best. It's not necessarily safe either. If this kind of intelligent driving system is really applied to military industry, it may well lead to irreversible mistakes." Su Ting's voice, sentence after sentence, rang out through the meeting room. This time, the voices of approval grew even louder. Many female researchers, even at the handsome Su Ting, cast admiring glances. However, just at that moment, a very dissonant voice suddenly rang out. "Su Ting, is it so hard to admit that Xin Fei is outstanding? You bunch all think too highly of yourselves. You look down on what he's developed. But if it were you, could you build such an intelligent driving system?" The voice, full of sarcasm, like a slap, fiercely hit the faces of Su Ting and the rest. But when they looked toward the direction of the voice, they immediately wilted. "Ah, sistering, I didn't mean to look down on Xin Fei. I was just stating the facts. As for this intelligent driving system, I haven't studied it. I don't know if it can be developed." Su Ting mustered her courage. Qi Ning, upon hearing this, couldn't help but roll his eyes. After rolling his eyes, he then looked at Chen Jiming, saying, "Elder Chun, look at these people, how hypocritical they all are. Military research is indeed much stronger than civilian research in some aspects, but something that can shock someone like Lei Busi to such a degree, in their mouths becomes just stating the facts. They don't even have the basic respect for technology. If you ask me, Elder Chen, you're wasting your time, gathering so many people together. Just lock each one in a small dark room, and let them focus on research. Then they wouldn't have so much vanity." Qi Ning, never satisfied without shocking, said. Su Ting, Ma Hongyi, and the others listened, their eyelids twitching. If not for Qin Ying's special forces level compatibility, they would have retorted at least a couple of times. But now they could only keep their eyes on their noses and hearts, pretending not to hear, or gaze pitifully at Chen Jiming a couple of times, hoping Chen Jiming would back them up. But soon, this last hope of theirs was also dashed. Although Qin Ying's words were a bit blunt, they weren't without reason. As for Xin Fei's intelligent driving system, it is indeed a product ahead of its time. He's a very promising young man. I'm looking forward to him coming here. Xiaoma, how did your contact go?" At the end of his speech, Chen Jiming suddenly changed the subject. He suddenly looked at Ma Hongyi sitting nearby. Ma Hongyi was slightly stunned upon hearing this. Then he pulled out his phone and glanced at it, and said, as if somewhat speechless, "Teacher, I went through Volcano, the live streaming platform's official side, and got the phone number Xin Fei registered with the platform, using the official number of the admissions office. I gave him 2 calls, but both showed as rejected. Later I sent him a text message, but so far he hasn't replied." Chen Jiming waved his hand upon hearing this, signaling to put this matter aside for now. Meanwhile, Qi Ning, beside him, couldn't help but roll his eyes at Ma Hongyi again. The provocative intent in his words, Qi Ning had fully picked up on. "All right, let's just wait for Xin Fei's reply for now. I believe that as long as he's interested in research, he won't miss this opportunity. Next, let's begin the formal meeting agenda." At this point, Chen Jiming slowly began. The people in the meeting room, upon hearing this, immediately sat up straight. So all that just now wasn't the real purpose of this meeting at all. and under the intense gaze of everyone, Chen Jiming picked up a piece of chalk and wrote a line of big characters on the blackboard in the meeting room, on several points where contemporary strategic aircraft must achieve breakthroughs. While Chen Jiming, along with Qin Ying and the others, the top military industry experts in the country, were just beginning to discuss the strategic aircraft topic. At the Shunsong building headquarters in Shanghai, the boss of Shunsong, the top domestic courier, was also worrying about the aircraft matter. President Wang, should we continue the development? The previous 6 experiments have all failed. If we keep going, who knows how much more money we'll have to throw in. Beside Wang Wei, a middle-aged man who looked like an assistant said bitterly, starting from the beginning of last year, Shunsong, in order to deliver packages faster, initiated a plan for drone delivery. To that end, Shunsong specially recruited a large number of professional research talents in this field. In total, they invested over 1 billion yuan. But who would have thought? They had already bragged about it. They advertised publicly. This time, they would build a drone with strong endurance, strong long-distance delivery capability, and good stability, greatly improving the efficiency of package delivery. Can fly nationwide. Deliveries arrive the same day. This ad, however you hear it, is impressive. But the results were far from satisfactory. All 6 research attempts failed. Either the endurance was insufficient, or the payload capacity was mediocre, or both the first 2 were met. But the stability was terrible. In short, over the past year or more, Shunsong has burned through who knows how much money. And how many test aircraft have exploded? The situation now is that both Shunsong and Wang Wei are stuck in a bind. If they show their heads, they'll get killed instantly. If they don't, they'll die from the poison zone. Hey, old Liang, I know very well what you're worried about. But if we don't continue, won't all that money we've put in be wasted? Moreover, I, Wang Wei, always mean what I say. We've already bragged about it. If the result is nothing, how will others see Shunsong in the future? How will they see me, Wang Wei? After some thought, Wang Wei gritted his teeth and said, looking like he'd no matter how much money it cost, he had to take responsibility for the bragging. And the middle-aged assistant beside him, hearing Wang Wei's words, couldn't help his legs tremble immediately. President Wang, please think twice. Our Shunsong has been making money these years, but it can't withstand. Old Liang, wait, don't talk for a moment. The middle-aged assistant hadn't finished speaking when Wang Wei directly raised his hand to interrupt him. The middle-aged assistant was taken aback. He looked at Wang Wei with some confusion, and at that moment, Wang Wei was looking straight ahead, his confused eyes suddenly becoming brighter. The middle-aged assistant followed Wang Wei's gaze, and then involuntarily swallowed. He gulped. On the screen ahead, a frame was frozen. The main subject of the picture was Lei Busi and a car. W. Wang. President Wang? You're not thinking of. That's right, old Liang. Since Shen Fei was able to create a groundbreaking new energy car, then building a drone that meets our requirements, I think shouldn't be too difficult. This head of mine. Why did it take me so long to realize? Ever since I learned about the Beishan Square Dammy Group car launch event, I should have thought of it. Wang Wei sighed, and couldn't help but slap his thigh hard. Then he opened the computer on the desk, and directly placed an order with me. And the middle-aged assistant beside him, seeing this, hesitated for a moment, but couldn't help saying, President Wang, Shen Fei's reputation is not so good. Wang Wei was slightly startled at this. Then, while placing the order, he couldn't help laughing. Old Liang, you mean the reputation of Shen Fei being a profiteer, right? Ha ha ha. If he really can build me a drone, I'd even accept not refueling the drone. It's just a tank of gas. It's not much money. As he spoke, Wang Wei had already placed the order. Then he leaned back in his executive chair and let out a heavy sigh of relief, looking like a weight had been lifted off his mind. The middle-aged assistant, upon hearing this, still couldn't help but frown deeply. Boss Wang, that's not what I'm worried about. What I mean is, Shen Fei is too young. Based on that voice recording from Beishan Square, everyone guesses Shen Fei is only about 20 years old. So young, being able to create a new energy vehicle like this is already amazing enough to earn everyone's thumbs up. But talent runs out too. Shen Fei, a 20-year-old kid, how could he possibly handle new energy vehicle tech and drone manufacturing at the same time? And the drone we want to build, its specs have never appeared on the market before. It's fair to say it's absolutely unique in the world. Can Shen Fei really do it? The middle-aged assistant laid out all his concerns. One by one, Wang Wei was silent for a few seconds. Then, he shifted his gaze to the blue sky and white clouds outside the window. Old Liang, I know it's hard. Otherwise we wouldn't have failed so many times. But do you have a better idea now? After Wang Wei finished, this time it was the middle-aged assistant's turn to fall silent. A moment later, the assistant calmed down. Boss Wang, maybe your choice is right. But will Shen Fei accept our order? Right now, I bet the number of people online trying to order from him must be through the roof. Hearing the assistant's words, Wang Wei waved his hand confidently. No worries, I already checked. Right now, on Shen Fei's manufacturing shop, the highest order amount is only 20 million. I offered Shen Fei a high price of 1.2 billion. Didn't you say Shen Fei is greedy? Then he'll definitely take my order, Wang Wei said with confidence. The middle-aged assistant heard this and nodded subconsciously. Oh, I see. That's good. Wait, boss. Boss, how much? 1.2 billion, boss? Are you sure you didn't add an extra zero? Turning 12 million into 1.2 billion. After snapping back to reality, the middle-aged assistant suddenly lost his cool. I mean, we're only building a small drone, not a large passenger plane. R&D costs are high, but manufacturing costs top out at a few tens of millions. 1.2 billion. That could build a medium-sized commercial aircraft. And the assistant had also heard that Shen Fei only sells products, not patents. No matter how he looked at this deal, The assistant felt. It was a massive loss. Come on, old Liang. Don't overthink it. Money is meant to be spent. As long as Xinfei can build us the drone, it's worth it. Even if one such drone might not be enough for our drone transport system. If Xinfei succeeds, we can just buy a few more from him, can't we? Any problem that money can solve is no problem at all, Wang Wei said with an air of arrogance and wealth. The middle-aged assistant heard that and could only twitch his eyes as he nodded. But he really thought it might be necessary to ask where I live and maybe send a few people to keep an eye on me. Otherwise, he was afraid I'd just take the money and run. After all, everyone online calls me that shady businessman who might close up shop and disappear at any moment. The middle-aged assistant felt that 1.2 billion was tempting enough. Tiger Shark live streaming platform. Ever since the Dammy Auto press conference ended, the advertising and promotion stream for my manufacturing shop had never dropped from the #1 spot on the homepage. Countless netizens came out of curiosity, all wanting to see how terrifying the orders in my stream had become. And when Wang Wei's order burst in like a dark horse and firmly claimed the top spot in order amount, the millions of water friends in my stream were all stunned. Holy crap, am I seeing things? 1.2 billion? Shunsong Group placed a 1.2 billion order for Brother Fei. Brother Wang is too savage. That's 1.2 billion soft RMB, not 1.2 billion happy beans. Wow, don't say that. I've never even seen 1.2 billion happy beans in my life. Suddenly, I feel Chairman Lei is too stingy. Look at Boss Wang, throwing down 9 digits right off the bat. Man, I never thought that a 100,000 yuan computer would be the closest I'd ever get to Fei's workshop. I heard that the computer Fei built for his son is already too precious for gaming. It's been enshrined in the stream room. So jealous of the son, jealous of little sister Dai. Man, I'm kicking myself now. So what is Boss Wang having Fei build for 1.2 billion? Why is this order still confidential? Probably building Ultraman. Bullshit, I think it's Armor Hero. The water friends in the stream were buzzing with discussion, and eventually all got curious to death, wanting to know what exactly Wang Wei had ordered me to build. Not long after, the resourceful netizens dug up some clues. I got it. Drones. Boss Wang probably placed a drone order with Fei. Drones? Are we talking about the drones I know? What kind of drone costs 1.2 billion? Dude, you're so out of the loop. Shunsong has been advertising that they'll build drones for package delivery. Supposedly, it can carry a ton of cargo and fly nationwide. But nothing ever happened. Likely they couldn't build it. So I guess Boss Wang had no choice and came to Fei to place the order. Boss Wang, you fool. Yeah, seriously. No matter how awesome a drone is, it's not worth over 100 million. Anyway, it's not our money. If Fei really builds it, I'll use Shunsong for all my deliveries from now on. Right. I can't afford Fei's computers or motorcycles, but at least I can use Fei's drones. After guessing it was a drone order, the millions of viewers in the stream completely exploded. Even more terrifying, within half an hour of this news spreading, Shunsong stock actually rose quite a bit. Shunsong Group headquarters building, in the top floor chairman's office. The middle-aged assistant surnamed Liang was completely dumbfounded. It took him over 10 seconds to recover. Then he couldn't help but shake his head and smile wryly at Wang Wei sitting in the executive chair. Boss Wang, it seems I underestimated this guy's influence. After Dammy Group's car press conference achieved stunning success, his fame is truly unmatched at the moment. At this rate, it probably won't be long before the 1.2 billion you spend has already paid for itself. Assistant Liang couldn't help clicking his tongue repeatedly. Wang Wei, hearing this from the side, stared at the computer screen in front of him, but a hint of worry crept onto his face. Old Liang, but why hasn't Xinfei accepted the order yet? Is my offer not high enough? The rise in Shunsong's stock price naturally excited Wang Wei too, but he knew it was all because of me. If I didn't take his order, he'd be screwed. Then the stock that rose would definitely fall back, and fall even more. After all, if I don't take the order, the internet would go wild with rumors and their Shunsong drone delivery plan. It also signifies it's going to completely run aground. President Wang, it probably isn't about the price. The price you offered is already very high. Maybe Mr. Xinfei just has something on his hands right now. That could be the case. Faced with Wang Wei's words, the middle-aged assistant could only try to guess and comfort him. And just as he finished speaking, Wang Wei suddenly sprang up from his seat. This move startled the middle-aged assistant. Seeing the usually steady Wang Wei so excited, the middle-aged assistant immediately said excitedly, President Wang, did Mr. Xinfei accept the order? Hearing the assistant's question, Wang Wei had a look of mixed laughter and tears. He pointed at the computer screen in front of him, then said somewhat dejectedly, I was wondering why Xinfei didn't take the order. Just now, in my panic, I reopened the order and read through it. I messed up. The drone parameters I gave Xinfei are all wrong. For both the range and payload data, I added an extra 0. I guess when I placed the order earlier, you were talking to me and I got distracted. No wonder Xinfei didn't take the order. A range of 10,000 kilometers and a payload of 10 tons. How could a drone like that possibly be built? Let me see how to cancel this order and place a new one for Xinfei, Wang Wei said with a bitter smile, while moving the mouse, looking for the cancel order option. But just then, on the Tiger Shark live stream backend, a notification suddenly popped up. Ding, friendly reminder. The order for your shop on Tiger Shark Live has been accepted by the shop owner. The order status will be changed to accepted. Seeing this message, Wang Wei's expression instantly froze. Then, he rubbed his eyes hard twice, and after confirming he hadn't misread, a voice of extreme shock burst out of his throat. Old Liang, quick, take a look. Am I seeing things? A drone order with such absurd parameters and Shun Fei actually accepted it. He accepted it. On the balcony of a civilian house in downtown Modu, I was lying on a recliner, comfortably soaking up the afternoon sun. Taking another look at the order I just accepted, I couldn't help muttering to myself, looks like President Wang knows quality. Now that's more like it. An order with a challenge. And enough money to go with it. That's what gives me the drive to build. Standing up from the recliner, I stretched comfortably and planned to head out immediately, rush back to the manufacturing shop, and handle the order Wang Wei had placed. After earning enough, 10 million points, the system had unlocked Stage 3 top-tier military manufacturing. Without obtaining that top-tier military manufacturing skill, completing Wang Wei's drone order would have seemed nearly impossible to me. But now, I think I can give it a shot. And it's not just the difficulty of the order that interests me. I'm also very satisfied with the price of the order. Along with unlocking Stage 3, the points needed to upgrade to Stage 4 have also been announced by the system. 1 billion, a full 1 billion. I had already made some bold guesses before, but even I didn't think the next stage would require so many points. However, the 7 words concept-level military manufacturing for Stage 4 does make me feel a bit better about it, even though I don't know exactly what concept-level military manufacturing entails. Just hearing the name gives off an ultra-high-end vibe. It's probably worth the 1 billion points, no problem. Oh right, and this too. Putting aside Wang Wei's order for now, I took out my phone again and looked at the 2 missed calls and 1 message. Those were naturally from Ma Hongyi at the military research base. The calls and message he sent me. I didn't answer the calls, but I did read the text. Still, I didn't feel like replying because I simply didn't know how to respond. Whatever, forget it for now. After all, I'm not really interested in joining some military research base. I muttered to myself, and then dragged both the message and the calls into the trash bin. It's not that I'm unwilling to serve my country. It's just that I have no way to go there. First of all, the system upgrades require more and more points, which naturally means I need to earn more money. If I enter a research base, it won't be so easy to make money there. I might not even earn much at all. With that, how am I supposed to upgrade the system? And there's another very important reason. Life in a research base definitely won't be as free as I am now. Sometimes, they might even ask me to research things I'm not interested in, or things that aren't very challenging. All these things completely block any possibility of me entering a research base. As I set off back to the suburban manufacturing shop to start working on Shunsong Group's drone order. On the other side, at the Shunsong headquarters building, in the chairman's office, Wang Wei and assistant Liang Shuzhong stared at each other for a long time before slowly snapping out of their shocked state. But deep in the eyes of both, there was still a thick lingering sense of awe. President Wang, how about you just slap me? This doesn't feel real at all. We struggled to make a drone with a range of 1,000 kilometers and a payload of 1 ton. And Shun Fei actually accepted an order for a drone with a range of 10,000 kilometers and a payload of 10 tons. Am I really not dreaming? Liang Shuzhong couldn't help swallowing, his throat moving as he spoke. The reason he became Wang Wei's chairman assistant was through careful selection by the board of directors. The root cause was that Wang Wei spent money too freely. The directors were afraid he'd squander the company, so they assigned Liang Shuzhong, an extremely frugal middle-aged assistant, to him. But this time, facing the 1.2 billion Wang Wei had casually thrown out, Liang Shuzhong felt it was worth it. Absolutely worth it. If we could really build a drone like that, then Shunsong wouldn't just dominate the national courier market. With this deal, even globally, no one could compete with Shunsong. Ship in the morning, deliver by afternoon. Who could beat that? Old Liang, do you think we were too cautious placing the order? Shin Fei is simply not human. He's a freak, a research freak. Wang Wei looked at Liang Shuzhong's exaggerated expression, and he himself wasn't much better. Ever since building his courier empire from scratch, few people had ever impressed Wang Wei. But since learning the name Shin Fei, he had repeatedly shattered his ceiling of understanding. Wang Wei felt for the first time that besides making money, there were people and things in this world so fascinating. President Wang, do you feel an urge to study, to take the graduate or doctoral exams? Frankly, I do too. The old folks always say knowledge is power, that all pursuits are lowly, only study is noble. Before, I always thought those words didn't fit this era. But Shin Fei, he made me understand the true power and immense charm of knowledge. Liang Shuzhong said from the bottom of his heart, a strange look of hope on his face. Enough, old Liang. Let's not sigh here. There are thousands of researchers out there, but someone with Shun Fei's ability and guts, there's only one. Still, Donghua needs a researcher who shines this bright. He will be like a beam of light, illuminating the path ahead for countless lost young people. He will be like a beam of light, illuminating the path forward for countless lost young people. And I know there's one more thing you didn't say. It's that compared to someone like Shin Fei, billionaires like Lei Busi and me start to look a bit beneath contempt. Am I right? Wang Wei suddenly spoke up teasingly. Wang Wei was feeling incredibly relaxed now. He was even more excited about the drone I'd soon deliver to him. Full of anticipation, Liang Shuzhong heard Wang Wei's words, and naturally didn't dare say a single word in response. He stammered for 2 seconds. Then, as if he'd suddenly found a topic, he asked, "Oh right, President Wang, does the order you placed with Shun Fei have a deadline? Should we put out an announcement early? Anyway, netizens have already guessed that the order we gave Shin Fei is for drones. I don't think there's any point hiding it anymore. And Lei Busi has already shown us the way, releasing the announcement 3 days early. Beishan Plaza's Dammy Car event was an instant hit. I have to admit, when it comes to marketing, we really should learn from Lei Busi." Hearing Liang Shuzhong's words, Wang Wei fell into thought. After a moment, he said directly, "Old Liang, You've actually reminded me of something. Of course we need to put out an announcement. I didn't give Xinfei a deadline, but judging by how fast he's completed past orders, I estimate at most a week, and Xinfei will deliver to us. So let's set it at 1 week. 1 week from now, we'll hold the drone launch at Shinshanghaihu Park. Let's see this time whether Lei Buxi's dummy car launch makes a bigger splash, or our drone launch does. By the end, even Wang Wei, a seasoned businessman, couldn't help getting excited. Of course, Liang Shuzhong was even more thrilled. Yes, President Wang, I'll get it arranged right away. With a firm nod, Liang Shuzhong quickly walked out of the office. Liang Shuzhong was very fast. After his talk with Wang Wei, in less than 10 minutes, an announcement was posted on the Shunsong Group official website and on their official accounts across major platforms. The announcement read, 7 days from now, at Shinshanghaihu Park, Shunsong Group will hold a drone express delivery launch event. Stay tuned. The content was brief, but like a boulder thrown into a calm lake, it stirred up massive waves in no time. Knew it had to be drones. President Wang asked Brother Fei to make drones. Can't keep up. Totally can't keep up now. The Dammy Group car launch. I took time off to watch it. Now I'll have to take time off again. At this rate, that skinflint boss will definitely fire me. Haha, bro, don't worry, watch it. Openly at work. Because I think your boss will be watching too. Too busy to bother with you. Damn, bro, you got jokes. Next time, say it sooner, will you? Anyway, now I'm following these launches, and I finally get what girls feel about chasing variety shows. It's freaking awesome. The number of comments below Shunsong's official account, in just a few minutes, surpassed 10,000. Everyone was looking forward to the Shunsong drone launch. 7 days later. Meanwhile, elsewhere, inside the 1st Military Region Military Research Base, Chen Jinmin led Qin Ying and others in a seminar. Not a word was said. Academician Shun, it's not feasible, completely not feasible. For the strategic aircraft, the two most important functions are strategic bombing, and the other is supply delivery. Let's start with strategic bombing. To ensure our pilots and the strategic aircraft return safely, we can only work on the outer protective shell. But even Sister Ying's newly developed T-type ultra-hard mixed metal can't guarantee it can withstand one air-to-air missile without malfunction. On the ground, 1 or 2 missiles hitting a tank might be fine. But in the air, it's not like on the ground. Any small malfunction can be fatal. As for supply delivery, even if it's dropped at our own camp, the danger coefficient is much lower, but still can't guarantee 100% safety. So I think this topic is a false proposition. Simply impossible. In the silent meeting room, Ma Hongyi stood up first. Speaking, Chen Jiming waved his hand, motioning Ma Hongyi to sit down. Then he looked around the room, at the 40 to 50 top military R&D talents below, and said heavily, no solutions? Not a single solution? Even a rough idea would be something. Chen Jinming's voice echoed through the room, but only deeper silence answered. Only Qining frowned slightly, as if wanting to say something, but in the end he shook his head to himself, swallowing his words back down. At the suburban manufacturing shop, I read through the order parameters Wang Wei gave me, one more time carefully, then opened the Super Lab. After the system upgraded to Stage 3, the Super Lab's functions have been significantly enhanced. First, the time ratio reached 51:1. Although the increase wasn't as big as from Stage 1 to Stage 2, still, such a ratio seemed crazy enough to me. If I spend 50 days in the Super Lab, only 1 day passes in the real world. It's precisely because of this Super Lab, this insane ability, that I dare to take Wang Wei's order. Even if I fail, I don't have to worry about time. Second, the variety of equipment in the Super Lab and the material library have all been upgraded to military grade. From the Super Lab, I can not only use all kinds of top-tier military manufacturing equipment for free, but I can also spend money to buy all military-grade materials available on the market. However, the price of some materials makes my wallet ache just looking at them. I don't even want to count all those zeros at the end. So when I told Lei Buxi I'm a bit short on cash lately, I wasn't joking. When completing orders, the system's rule is the more money I save, the more points I get. But, who knows, maybe one day I'll want to build something myself, and then I'll definitely pick the best materials, and my little bit of money won't come close to covering it. If I try anything big, I'll probably go broke again. I always say, now everyone out there calls me the king of profiteers. The number of likes on my store's profiteer investment badge is almost at 30 million. To be honest, this time I really didn't plan to rip you off. I wanted to build you a good drone, to shake off that profiteer label. But now I feel so poor. You've got to understand me. I muttered to myself. Then, opened the material library function of the Super Lab. I browsed and picked for nearly half a day, until I finally gathered all the materials needed to build the drone. Compared to the previous times, I did take longer picking materials this time, but I really couldn't help it. The military-grade materials in the system are too expensive. I kept looking for substitutes. Good thing perseverance pays off. What would have cost several million in materials, I managed to squeeze down to under 2 million. Total for all materials in one package. I paid the system 1.8 million, and if Wang Wei ever found out this number, he'd probably have a breakdown on the spot. Dude, I paid you 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion, huh? And in the end you only spent 1.8 million. Although Wang Wei definitely doesn't know yet how much I spent, but I guess he'll find out soon enough. Because before entering the Super Lab, I took a glance at the system. It was still generating that periodic report. I suspect the system will just publish it directly, without even letting me take a look. No way to modify it myself at all. With that thought, I couldn't help mumbling, hey, after this gig, I feel like I need to hire some bodyguards, or renovate the manufacturing shop. set up some defensive weapons. Otherwise, I always feel uneasy. After selecting the materials, I went over the manufacturing process. In my head again, if it were ordinary drones, I wouldn't even need a full day to build over a dozen of them. But to build a drone with a 10,000 kilometers range and a 10-ton payload and require extremely high stability. No joke, this is a challenge for me. Even higher than building that new energy vehicle for Lei Jun, because with that new energy vehicle, I didn't have to worry about anything else. The only difficulty was the autonomous driving system. But this drone Lei ordered has 3 crucial aspects that are mutually exclusive. Long range makes it hard to increase payload. Large payload makes stability hard to control. High stability, then both range and payload will be constrained. Finding a balance among the 3 will be extremely difficult. It's like a technician crafting a very precise component with a tolerance of 1 micron. Even 0.5 millimeters off is unacceptable. And the difficulty I'm facing now is many times harder than crafting some so-called component. I have to tackle the 3 problems in order. Let's start with the easiest, range. I let out a light breath, then started structuring it in my mind. And as I structured, many of the manufacturing equipment needed was summoned from the super lab. Even though I said, range is the easiest problem, that's only in comparison to the other 2. In the drone parameters Wei gave me, the length is about 10 meters, and that's the maximum length a drone can achieve. Not that longer is impossible, but this length is the most suitable for a drone. Any longer, and its maneuverability will drop significantly. The length of a typical commercial airliner is about 30 meters. Its range barely reaches 12,000 to 13,000 kilometers. That means, now I have to use 1/3 the volume of an airliner to achieve the same range. You can imagine the difficulty. But just then, I seemed to think of a possibility. His eyes lit up. He couldn't help murmuring, and said, solving the biggest range problem is to compress the fuel tank volume. If the fuel tank is too big, it will definitely affect payload space and stability. Currently, all aircraft use aviation kerosene. Fuel tank size is related to range. But isn't it more related to the fuel itself? Solving the fuel tank size is hard. So what about solving the fuel? Yes, that's the idea. This should be the optimal solution. As I murmured to myself, my eyes grew brighter. Then I said, let's do it, and devoted all my energy to solving the fuel problem. Meanwhile, on the other side, inside the first military research base of Photo City, Chen Jinmin gave Su Ting and the others about half an hour to think carefully about how to solve the strategic aircraft safety coefficient problem. But half an hour passed. Su Ting and the others were still staring at each other, minds blank, without a single idea. As for the topic of this meeting, we have to start from 3 days ago. 3 days ago, Dragon Country and Bear Country secretly conducted a modern air combat exercise. Ever since fighter jets appeared, air superiority has become the key factor deciding a war's outcome. So every country places great importance on their air combat capability. In recent years, Dragon Country has invested heavily in building its air force, sparing no expense, pouring in who knows how much money and effort. But 3 days ago, this air combat exercise between Dragon Country and Bear Country gave the military bigwigs of Dragon Country a cold shock. Not that Dragon Country was crushed by Bear Country in air combat. On the contrary, in this exercise, Dragon Country ultimately won, but the victory was extremely brutal. In the entire exercise, Dragon Country deployed 100 fighter jets, including 20 JH-7 series fighter bombers, 25 J-10 series, 10 Su-27 and J-11 series, including J-11B, 8 Su-30 MK series, 7 Su-35, 10 J-15, 8 J-16 series, including J-16D, 12 J-20 series. This was equivalent to an entire aviation division's full strategic aircraft lineup, and Bear Country only deployed 10 fighter jets. Just as the Dragon Country military bigwigs thought Bear Country was joking, Bear Country taught Dragon Country a lesson with real action. The 100 fighter jets easily annihilated Bear Country's 10 fighters. They even took out Bear Country's combat headquarters completely. But that also exposed all 100 Dragon Country fighters to the enemy's view. Bear Country used a brute force trade-off right in front of Lin Fu. They activated all anti-aircraft guns and missiles, trading 1 combat base. 4 Dragon Country's entire aviation divisions, 98 fighter jets. Only 2 made it back to base unscathed. Looking at this single exercise battle, Dragon Country won. But in a real war, you never decide victory by 1 battle. Dragon Country traded nearly 100 fighter jets for 1 combat base. In a real war, that's a huge loss. So after this air combat exercise, Dragon Country's military bigwigs held an emergency meeting to analyze the fundamental reason for the exercise's heavy losses. And in the end, after 8 hours of intense discussion, the bigwigs finally reached a conclusion. That is, the strategic aircraft's defense capability is too weak. Once deep inside enemy territory, it's inevitable to end up killing 1,000 enemies, while losing 800 of your own. And, more importantly, it's not just the loss of a strategic aircraft. What's more critical is the pilot flying it. Every fighter pilot is 1 in a million, meticulously trained. Losing even 1 is heartbreaking, let alone an entire squadron. So the higher-ups gave Chen Jinmin an urgent order, requiring him to lead all the top military engineers in the research base to, within a week, find a way to solve the safety problem of strategic aircraft pilots. And today is already the second day since Chun Jinmin received the order. Old Chun, I think this problem isn't just ours. Every other country has to face it too. So don't worry too much, sir. In the short term, I think the strategic aircraft safety problem is simply unsolvable. Even if the higher-ups shoot us all, this problem is really hard to solve. Seeing that the atmosphere in the meeting room was a bit gloomy, Ma Hongyi stood up and said, and if he hadn't said anything, it would have been fine. But once he spoke, Chun Jinming immediately got so angry that his mustache even started to twitch. Do I need you to tell me that? Leave the problem to time. Leave the problem to time. Every time you face a research difficulty, is this the mentality all of you have? Then let me ask you, if time solved the problem, then what do I need you for? And if everyone solves this problem, then what advantage does the Dragon Nation have? What the higher-ups want is for us to stay ahead of other countries in solving this problem. In short, I'll give you 2 days. 2 days. If you can't even come up with a basic concept, then I really should consider what Xining said and lock every one of you in a small dark room to do your research in silence. After saying that, Chun Jinming slammed the table hard and left with a livid face. In the meeting room, only Su Ting, Ma Hongyi, and the others remained, staring at each other wide-eyed. After a moment, Ma Hongyi couldn't help but look toward Qin Ying's direction, put on a fawning smile, and said, Sister Ying, teacher, you usually have the most ideas. How about you give us some advice? I don't think old Shun is joking this time. After Ma Hongyi's voice rang out in the meeting room, everyone else turned their heads in unison and looked at Qin Ying sitting at the front, their faces full of hope, although most of them here hadn't taken any classes with Qin Ying after entering the research base. Since he had become the base's mentor, they had all heard about Qin Ying's capabilities. Back in the day, that batch of people with Qin Ying had now all become leaders in various military research institutions, and Qin Ying was one of the standout figures among them. If it weren't for the fact that he always enjoyed the leisurely pace at the research base, he would probably have been poached by other military regions long ago to be in charge of the entire region's military research. Oh, now you know to call me Sister Ying? Weren't you just rushing to tattle to old Chin earlier? And besides, you said it yourself. I'm the mentor. If old Chin wants to lock you in a small dark room, what's that got to do with me? You're on your own. Good luck. Qin Ying glanced coldly at Ma Hongyi and the others, then stood up and swayed his long legs as he walked out of the meeting room under the dumbfounded gaze of the crowd, left the meeting room, and Ma Hongyi and the others, frozen in place, felt their hearts go splat, as if falling straight into the abyss. No hope there. No one to rely on now. Let's all do our best. Within 2 days, try to come up with a reasonable research plan for old Chun. If you really can't, at least offer more ideas, even if they're wrong. Old Chin today was probably pissed off because none of us said a word. Su Ting shook her head and sighed. The others exchanged glances upon hearing this, and could only nod silently. Time slips through your fingers like sand. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye, while Su Ting and other top military researchers were racking their brains over the strategic aircraft defense problem. At the outskirts of Magic City, inside the manufacturing shop, I had already spent a full 100 days in the super lab, if it weren't for the entire R&D process for the drone being so tight, where I lost track of time. I really would have gone crazy, but heaven helps those who help themselves. After more than 3 months, I finally managed to build the drone that Wang Wei had requested. A drone with a range of 10,000 kilometers, a payload capacity of 10 tons, and excellent stability, a groundbreaking drone. Looking at my creation in front of me, this time even I couldn't help but show a hint of excitement. System is now scoring the host current experiment. After system detection, the host drone experiment this time received a perfect score of 100 for product manufacturing. In the area of drone fuel tank construction, the host's comprehension and manufacturing ability broke through the limit. Score received S-level rating. Now awarding the host 10 intelligence points. Awarding the host 10 million system upgrade points. The system's soft voice fell one after another. I hadn't really paid attention at first, but when I heard the last 2 sentences, my body, which was about to leave the lab, froze solid on the spot. The 10 million upgrade points from the system were nothing special. The system has always been stingy in that regard. Compared to the 1 billion upgrade points, 10 million felt like I was begging from the system. But those 10 intelligence points, they really made my throat move involuntarily, and I started swallowing saliva. I felt my adrenaline about to burst out. If I understood correctly, these 10 intelligence points could be equivalent to 10 IQ points. A person with an IQ score of 100 is an average talent. A person with an IQ score of 110 can already be called an outstanding talent. In other words, the system's 10 intelligence points can instantly turn someone from average intelligence into top-tier intelligence, and these 10 IQ points applied to me would probably be even more exaggerated, because originally, my talent for scientific research and a series of studies and comprehension was already top-notch. They say Einstein had a very high IQ, reaching 160. Before, I didn't know if I could compare to Einstein, but if I fused these 10 intelligence points, I think even if Einstein were alive today, I could definitely go head-to-head with him on raw IQ. It seems the system still has many features that I haven't discovered, but just this one amazing function of boosting intelligence is already terrifying. I took a deep breath, forced down the excitement in my heart, and said, then I looked up again at my masterpiece and left the super lab with it.